ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting episode of King Me REV'S HYPE PODCAST, with always your host, the Rev Dude. Coming at you with another exciting episode, which this should, if my math is correct, and it normally is, drop on the 4th of July, which I am actually very excited because not only is it a very big anniversary for America, and God bless America, God bless the troops, as always, but JJ and I are going to be going to a wonderful place down in Connecticut to see a wonderful show being put on by Jake the Handyman, which has been a person on the show. Go back and watch it. But Handyman Jake is putting on a hell of a show, and we cannot wait to go. I think it's 3 hours all the way down into the heart and soul of Connecticut just to see some great American wrestling, and we will probably skip the fireworks so we can get home in a timely fashion because I don't want to be home at 4 in the morning. Sounds good? All right, just in case, because everybody always wants to know where the hell I'm going on these holidays. But, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, humans of all genders, as always, I am here to introduce to you our special guest for this episode, Cody the natural-born Golden Standard Dreamheart, the one and only from Arizona. Cody, thank you for joining me today, my friend.
Man, I've been looking forward to this conversation since WrestleCon. So it's going to be a good conversation. We got a lot of things to talk about, a lot of things to catch up on, man. So thank you for having me on the show. And Golden Standard.
Yeah, Golden Standard. Yeah, it was very awesome bumping into you at WrestleCon. That was such a, so many people don't understand the power of networking in any business, but especially the wrestling business. If you can't network, you may not get a job. Let's be honest.
Absolutely.
And it's not even, I've had so many people kind of vilify it in a way, and it's like, that's just the way the world works, my friend. It's not, as my yogi once said, all right, the Bang Man, it's not just who's willing to say, it's not just who knows you, but who's willing to say they know you.
Exactly. Stick the next out for you.
In a room where you're not in there, and they're willing to put their neck on the line for you. And they can't do that if they don't know who the hell you are.
Exactly.
If they don't know where you're coming from. So that's just how the business works. And that's how.
And you got to get yourself out there. I mean, you got to, if you want to do this, if you're passionate about this, you got to show how passionate, because then they're going to see that. They can see right through you. Wrestling fans are some of the smartest. They know. So it's like, you got to be willing to be uncomfortable at first, because not everybody wants to go out there and do that. They're not comfortable with that. So it's just name of the game. And the people that you meet along the way get you more comfortable with that, because that's just the way the world works, man. If I wasn't there putting myself out there, we would have never met, and we would never be here right now.
Exactly. And JJ and I have a very strong philosophy. My daughter and I, anytime we go to a show, we try to be as positive as possible. And we try to be as, supportive as possible, because we've been to shows where, shout out to, when this comes out, it's going to be long over, but shout out to Focus Pro Wrestling, Evan, Brian, DC, great, wonderful guys. Marginally speaking at the in Braintree, Massachusetts at the Widowmaker, but we've seen them in other places as well, like Medford. I've had wonderful, amazing conversations with these gentlemen, and a couple of times we've gone to someone like Evan, who's the owner of Focus Pro, and literally gave him his flowers, man. Like, he's a great guy, and he almost gets taken aback by it sometimes because he's not used to it. He's like, well, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not a commentator. I'm not an on-air talent, whatever. And I go, yeah, but without you, none of us would be here, right? Yeah. And that's not me kissing someone's butt. That's literally me pointing out the fact that he paid the rent.
Correct. And that goes with everything, it is the professional wrestling business. It's a whole massive team. Even fans, man, because the fans are a part of the team, because we couldn't do it without the fans, couldn't do it without the production team, couldn't do it without the ring crew. It is the biggest massive team in anything that you could possibly think of. And it's when somebody deserves those flowers and they don't get recognized for the things that people don't see, and that's the most rewarding thing, because that's what it's all about,
Exactly. And if shout out to Evan, love you, bro.
Shout out.
If if he's not there to put the money on the line, there's no show. And
Absolutely. Yep.
if anybody forgot COVID already, we watched a WrestleMania without a crowd, and it was boring.
Brutal.
Okay?
Brutal.
It was so boring. It
Yeah.
was so boring, and there were some great matches.
I was gonna say they did what they could. They did. There was a couple good ones, but it wasn't WrestleMania. You can't. It wasn't WrestleMania.
Right. It was like a glorified house show at that point.
Yeah. That's about exactly. You can get that.
It was
Yeah.
glorified house show. Or shoot, if people are like, oh well, house shows, blah 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 blah. All right, if you want to do scale and size, then it's like WWF Insurrection, because those were definitely glorified house shows back in the day. There were pay-per-views, but nothing of significance truly happened on those days.
Correct.
So it was a giant house show, guys.
Yeah, you can go back and watch any one of them, and there's nothing really,
Nothing of significance, nothing of true. It more just floated through the story than anything else.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah, exactly. But you can even tell, some of them watching them back, you can even tell that they were more like less TV because they were so far, and house shows over there weren't as often.
Right, and they didn't get as much, and now they're getting a lot more, and their independent scene really exploded in the like 2010s, you can say. Wrestling. What Culture Wrestling was insane.
Culture Wrestling?
What Culture Wrestling was absolutely. I mean, where else in 2015 were you going to see Cody Rhodes versus Kurt Angle,
exactly,
or Rey Mysterio versus like Kenny Omega and guys like that? It was insanity. They were booking some of the best talent in the world that for whatever reason didn't want to be in the WWE.
I know.
Without that, really, there wasn't. If it wasn't for that New Japan, we wouldn't have AEW as we know it. To be real.
Same thing with the Lucha Underground. The Lucha Underground has a lot to do with that too. So, and they're making it a return. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, very exciting. Hopefully they don't ruin it. Is all I'm going to say. I'm going to knock up wood here. I'm going to say hopefully they don't ruin it, because sometimes when they bring things back, they try to mess with the formula and it's not good. So
yeah, I know. Yeah, they have a tendency to do that, especially with nowadays and TKO and the producers. It's yeah. We can say a lot of things about it. I try to keep a positive mind, like you said, but
exactly. That's why JJ and I have both, and especially with the fact that TKO is now deleting people who talk about them. We have
what?
There was a giant Armageddon about just right after WrestleMania, where there's so many content creators who would maybe they do like live watch-alongs and they'd react to the videos.
Correct.
A lot of those people had their Instagrams and Facebooks and other things deleted for violations of service, and just overnight disappeared. And the ironic thing is that the TKO would actually, you could still see the reaction videos that they made, because TKO saved them all and they put them on the product, but you can't make them anymore. So
damn.
That's why JJ and I had a conversation and said, you know what, if WWE TKO wants to delete people for talking about them, well, we'll just keep their name out of our mouth, and that's their problem. Like, I've already been deleted twice by Instagram for no good reason. I don't need a third one. No, thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Yeah, you know what's wild is you go on Instagram at any time, you put in the Rev Dude, you will find 7 versions of me that are completely fake.
Oh my God!
They stole my pictures, and they're using my name. But when I report them, they never get in trouble.
Yeah,
but somehow I get in trouble.
Yeah, right. Yep.
Wow.
Right when all my accounts were open, and I made it, and the wrestling career started. Not even 2 months. I was scrolling and I seen right there. I don't know who it was, but it was literally my profile picture of me doing my sign and then my promo picture. And I was like, wait a minute, already somebody's stealing my was like, Jesus Christ. So I reported him. I haven't seen it since, but I was like, man, that didn't take long. Jesus, Louise.
Dude, don't hold your breath, man.
Yeah.
Trust me. I've done it a bunch of times, and they're like, we have checked it, and they have not violated anything. And I'm like, well, apparently using my face is not illegal. Sounds like
Yeah. That's funny.
well, I guess you know what I should do is trademark my face, and then I can sue everybody
That's
for
right.
trademark.
That's right. That's what we should all do. This is our moneymaker right here, brother. This is our moneymaker.
There you go. There you go. The $1 million man would be proud of me.
Yeah.
All right, man. So, as viewers should know, Stephen,
Yeah.
STD, right? STD was on the podcast previously.
STD. Lord only.
Rise and Create. We praised you to the highest of heavens, of course. So if anybody hasn't seen that episode, go back and watch it so that you can jump into this video and then it'll make more sense.
Two talent create, baby. Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Right. So we know Rise and Create. We know the idea that you guys are in Arizona, basically on the border, right near California and Nevada. And I just lost the name of the city. What's the name of the city?
The Mohave Valley.
Mohave Valley. Yes.
I wouldn't even call it a city. It's small. It's a small town. But like you said, we're right on the border of California, Nevada, Arizona. And for people who, like me and Steven, who were, he went a couple of other places, but I trained at FSW, Future Stars of Wrestling in Vegas. Did it for a couple months. Met a lot of good people that I still connect with to this day that are helping me. And with so much with critique, story, just everything. So it's a shout out to everyone from FSW. There's so many I could name a list of people, but just shout out to all of them because they praise what we're doing over here and they understand. It's just hopefully I would say it's another place to work, but another place to learn for people that are not. You can't. I was doing the driving. We were both doing the driving back and forth to Vegas, and it was a lot. And good opportunities in life lined up with the nutrition shop that I manage right now, and lots of great things. So I don't regret anything. I learned an amazing amount of stuff in those times that I'll never forget, which led me to be ready for the Rise and Create camp. So once we got into Rise and Create, we started rocking and rolling. And once that camp was done, I already had everything in mind from a character, from a backstory to moves and the gear and all this. I was just, I was ready. I was passionate. I would say I was waiting for this moment, but I was going to go into the business of wrestling later down in life, and I had a different vision. So when becoming a talent again, it was even on the rise. You bet your ass that I hopped on it, and yeah, we'll get into that. You wanted to keep going. That's where we're from, though. Yeah,
Absolutely. So I guess we should start. Let's for the uninitiated, just start from the beginning.
Yeah.
When did you and who were your guys growing up? That's an easy one. Throwaway question.
Okay, so it kind of changed early on. Obviously it was The Rock, because that's the first person that I seen. I'll never forget. Me and my brother walked into my sister's room, and it was most people get hooked on wrestling, right? For me, I was hooked off a promo. Very weird, but I'll never forget. I walked in there. It was an episode of SmackDown Thursday night on UPN, man, and it was The Rock and Triple H battling back and forth in a promo. I was just fascinated, and it just led to the wrestling, which they started throwing blows because that's usually how it happened in the Attitude Era, and it just went from there, man. So I was The Rock for a long time, and then once I got a little older, I would say early teens, Randy Orton all the way, man.
That's got it on you. That's why I had to ask. Like, he's wearing the shirt. We gotta address the elephant.
It's I think he's the greatest of all time, man. I mean, I even do shout out to because that's one of my major poses in bodybuilding, and I don't want to copyright or anything, but that's I'll always shout out to him in a bodybuilding pose for that last thing when I step on or stepping off stage, just because everything that the guy does, I tried studying from the calculated to the facial expressions, the way he moves, the smoothness. It's he's the greatest, man. I wasn't really too much of a fan at first because he was a dick. Everybody said that he was, but the athleticism, and he still just made everything easy. Even when you didn't like him, you wanted to hate him, you still loved him because you knew he was just like anything, like anybody else. So for a long time, it was Randy, and then I found Goldberg, and then it was Goldberg for a while, and Goldberg and Randy were just you know, two different people though, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was just
two different ends of a spectrum for sure.
absolutely. It was very weird. So I love the intensity of both of them. I love the spear and the intensity of Goldberg, but then Randy just had that different intensity to him, like the coldness and the calculatedness that I just, it was, but it's too different, man. I just love the intensity. That's how Cody Dreamheart is just, turned up to 10. He's intense, man. You gotta shine. You gotta, the golden standard would be up here. So, but those two guys, man, they were my guys. They were my guys growing up.
What part of Arizona are you originally from?
Kingman, Arizona. That's where I'm at. Yeah, Kingman. Right in the heart of Route 66, man. When I'm introduced, that's where I tell the announcers to tell I'm from, because I'm Cody Dreamheart, and I'm right from the heart of Route 66, man. There's no, it just falls right in the line. So that's where I'm from. That's home, Kingman, Arizona. And a lot of people say, "Oh, Kingman." I understand. I get it. But home is home, for no matter where you're at, for anybody. So
Shout out to Kingman, man. I thought that was a nice town. I don't know. People can have their own opinions.
It's historic, man. It's historic, very much.
Right. Route 66, there is a lot heart and soul of America that was in Route 66.
That's right.
Before. And that's honestly one of the things that that I loved about the Cars movie, of all things, that they shined the whole idea of, hey, Route 66 was this thing, and it had life, and it gave life to people, and it was destroyed by the 40, right? Like of all slices of Americana to praise Route 66. It wasn't some driving movie with teenagers or whatever else, or a period piece where they go back in time. It still exists. It was a talking car movie.
And that is iconic. It will always be iconic.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with it, man.
You can't. So great. No, you cannot. So yeah, it's good, and it's going to happen again too with the I-10 that they're building here as well. And people are just we have a really good old town. Our old town is really really nice. So hopefully later this year we got some plans with a guy named Big Mike here in town who does a lot of events, and hopefully we're going to be putting on some shows later this year. So I don't know if Steven plugged that in the last episode, but we got some things rocking and rolling, and hopefully we can start getting some independent wrestling shows out here in Kingman, Arizona. So
yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, no, when he was really just talking about the and I literally have it here somewhere, the May 16th match between the two of you. He was plugging that one away,
which was amazing.
I definitely made sure to keep an eye on the stuff, just to try to, give you guys some support on the gram and wherever else I could reshare it.
Oh, we appreciate it. Likewise, man. Absolutely. Like, you got anything, man, I will share it away, because that's what we do. We support each other in this business. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of climbing to the top. It's a selfish business, but at the same time, it's a brotherhood business. So
100%. Because there's only so many times you could get in a ring and wrestle a mop before people aren't paying anymore. There's only. Come on. That's
Kenny Omega, man. He's made it pretty damn good. He's done a good job.
He's definitely done some great ones. And shout out to him for sure. But even him, after like the 15th match, you'd be like, bro, can we just get a person in there? Like, and you could shout out to some of the best refs who have two invisible men in a ring, and they're like, oh, that was great. But even that would get tired after a while. So we at the end of the
dance
day,
part, man.
Yeah, it's just as much as the egos can get out of hand, and I've definitely seen that a few times.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesus, we gotta be able to work together, because, and this is something that I definitely understood more once I actually started going to a wrestling school and doing it myself. The idea of when you're in there, it's not just about you anymore. It's literally not about, it shouldn't be really about you at all.
Oh,
You should
really?
be trying to be a
Yeah.
professional to make sure that your partner is safe. And quite frankly, you're the one who's actually done it. So you can tell me if I'm an idiot by saying this, but for me, in my mind, and what my coaches have been trying to reiterate to me is that the other person's safety should be your foremost priority. And if it's not, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah, you don't. I mean, that is completely right. We're not in here to drop anybody on their heads. We're telling stories. We're telling stories
Right.
with very high intensity characters, and but that's 100%. That's the first safety. That's the first thing that they teach you in any school, camp. It doesn't matter where you go, safety. And that's why you condition, because if you're exhausted, you got to be able to still carry this man and pick him up and not drop him. And that's always number one. Before anything, before for yourself, like yourself is the last thing, because it's the safety. It's the safety of your dance partner, the fans, and then yourself. Because if you get all of those first two over, then you're going to get yourself over by the fans understanding, because like you said, the fans understand. And if they see that you're going in there trying to hurt this man, you might not have a long career. You guys need to work with each other and create magic and put on a damn show,
Exactly. And it's funny because, I call them normies, right? Anybody who doesn't really know anything about the wrestling business, I call them normies. And my brother Roland, he actually went with me to Las Vegas, but he's not a real wrestling fan.
For Vegas weekend.
Yeah. He's not a real, like, he's not a wrestling fan, so he only went to certain wrestling things. Like, he never went to WrestleCon. There were certain things he did and did not do. Like, he went with me on the nights to go see Simon Miller do Ups and Downs and stuff like that. But
gotcha. Okay.
After the Randy Orton Cody Rhodes match, obviously there's the very super famous kick to the face. And he was trying to tell me how ESPN was spinning it, that like Randy Orton had gone off script and he kicked him in the head and blah 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 blah. And
they sold that to you. They
sold the crap out of it, and he believed it hook, line, and sinker. And he was like, "Oh, can you believe it?" And I was like, "Yeah, that would never happen in a billion years." He's like, "What do you mean?" And I was like, if he genuinely went off of script and broke his like orbital bone or whatever, he would probably. I mean, Randy Orton can get away with a lot more than most people, but the average person would never have a job again. Let's be honest. You're not going to have a job. And like, Randy Orton would have a shit ton of heat. Even someone as great as he is, if he genuinely went off script and genuinely kicked in Cody Rhodes' face, there would be problems. There would be repercussions. There would be, he wouldn't walk away unscathed. So,
and I mean, obviously,
that line that you have to keep with the normies sometimes, but like, it's just funny how they don't believe X, Y, or Z, but he believed that, no problem.
Yep. It's yeah. Some people, like you said, some people just don't understand. Plus they're friends. If anybody knows, they're friends in real life. They're telling a story. They're telling a story, man. I mean, that's the greatest though, because if you're friends, man, you can give into each other. You could really tell a good story and put some asses in seats and tell just magic. You can create magic of your best. Some of the best storylines in the game are from people that respect each other and that are friends. So
and you give yourselves, since you trust that person, you can give them creative freedoms, whether it's in the ring or the promos, right? Yep. If you're my buddy and I know you're going to say something horrible to me, but I know you and I trust you, I don't care if you dig deep. Yeah. You start going, oh, well, that's why your wife left you. Like, let's go.
Exactly. And that's cool, because that makes it personal that you can't do with any other rivalry or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Exactly. And that's what we do, man. If you got them through the TV screen that's just what we do. It's just pulling the emotions, grabbing the emotions of people, and it's just like a movie, when the bad guy comes up every time. It's like right. And it's
I like to remind people when I say stuff like that wrestling is always the 90-10, right? There's always that 10% where the there's exceptions to the rule. You throw it out the window, and I'm sure somebody's like, "Well, what about Sean and Brett?" Yeah, well, do you remember how that ended? Didn't end very well for most people, so that's a bad example. Move
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. It honestly is, because that was just the time, man. People have they don't know what was going on. You know, the time of the two businesses and the way things were, that was a war, a legit war, like behind the scenes. So it was like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you know, probably things that really, even though there's things that have been said about it throughout the years and there's been exploited, but like things that'll never ever be like told by those two, or the ones that are involved in that, because just how serious and personal that was at the time, you know.
Exactly.
Even making amends, there's still people that will never understand the things that were really happening back then.
Exactly. So,
Yeah,
I mean, Arizona, I know I definitely watched SmackDown back in the day, UPN 45, before the UPN 45 and WB 61 merged into the CW.
yeah, for that one there. Yes.
So we talked about back in the day. What was it? Do you remember? Because some people remember a distinct moment. Some people
Yeah.
it happened gradually. What was it that do you remember at any particular point where you said, "This is the thing I want to do with the rest of my life, wrestling"?
After, well, it always wanted to be. It was always there. It was always there. I just never. And when I did it in 2021, I just came back from a 3-year move out to Illinois, so I was out there trying to get my ducks in a row. Something happened after high school sweetheart, blah blah blah. Went out to try to make a new life for myself. It was just running on a treadmill, man, running on a treadmill. So I started looking on wrestling schools when I was out there and stuff, and that's when I found FSW. And I'm like, you know what? This is the only thing in my entire life that's been a constant, and that has made me feel a certain way that nothing has ever made me feel. You know, like whether you could have a bad day, horrible day, you could put on wrestling, and you just feel something. So whether it's mad, sad, excited, pumped up, you know. Plus, I used to literally mimic matches in my room at 10 o'clock at night, getting yelled at with my mom, like, shut up. You know, she'd walk in, I'm pouring sweat, wrestling my pillows, you know. So it was always there, man. But I never had me and my brother and my sister got out of it. My sister fell out shortly after we got into it. Like, she's back into it now. She's doing some things, but it was just us for the longest time. You know, me and my autistic brother were you know, he said, we're gonna do this, and you know, when after so long, I was like, you know, God didn't bless him with the skills that he blessed me with. You know, I'm gonna go do this for the both of us. You know what I'm saying? So it's I came back, I found FSW, trained. I was like, me and Joe, he pulled me into the office, had a conversation. He said, hey, just pay for the first month and see where we go from here, because most people do this and have no idea what they're getting themselves into, even being a lifelong thing, you know. So I did, and it was, man, I fell in love with it even more. The fan was kind of gone. I mean, you always a fan, but the fan is kind of gone, because now you just dissect the business and like, man, this is so much more. It's so much more awesome than you can even more imagine, you know? So the 1 month turned into 2 months because TNA was in town, and Reality of Wrestling was in town. So I got to do some pretty cool stuff with Ring Crew for Reality of Wrestling and TNA. Got to meet some amazing people. Booker T, Charmel, they were so open, with, you know, working Ring Crew. It was amazing. So, you know, that was right then and there. And I knew eventually I was going to come back to it, but I had to step away. I told a few select people that you'll see me again. You'll see me again. I'll be back. And they're like, oh, I know you will. And I know you will. Didn't really know how, but those 2 months I was scavenging change. You know, I was working part-time at the nutrition shop, going out there, driving back and forth. Boom, 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 boom. And it really wasn't working because I didn't have any money after just moving back here from Illinois. So I saved all my saves to get back here, and I was just taking a shot and seeing if it was something that I really wanted to do. And came back here to Kingman, and started busting my ass at the nutrition shop. Got that manager position. I've been running the shop ever since. Had a different vision in mind with the wrestling business and opening up a massive facility. But once I seen the email of Rise and Create, I didn't think it was real. I didn't think it was real. I was like, nah, you know. So I kind of brushed it off, and I got an email from Steven saying, "Hey man, I would like you to come in and be the A1 for me." And I was like, "Okay, what the hell? This is actually legit." Okay, it's all happening for a reason. And went down there, man, and I was like, "Wow, this is everything." I talked to my boss, got the days off that I needed for the camp. Boom, 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 boom. I was like, "Everything happens for a reason. I thank you for letting me do this. I appreciate it." Been going back and forth, managing the shop, doing training, wrestling. So I'm just doing it all, man. But that was right. FSW 2021 is when I realized that was what like being a fan my entire life. Like I was saying, I didn't really have a lot of the support system. Nobody was a fan, so I had to figure it out by myself. That would makes any sense. My parents weren't going to be like, "Oh, you're going to wrestling school. We're going to support you at that." My dad was very, you need to find a 401k find a retirement. And he was really set on that, but I kind of changed my ways a little bit. And it was just, now I'm going to follow what makes me feel the best in my heart and my soul and my passion, the thing that makes me feel most alive in life. And that's been wrestling my whole life, you know? So just, if I can go out there and create moments and make people feel a way that it's made me feel my whole life, that's the best thing in the world. And get paid for it, man, that's the best thing in the world. But yeah, man, that's I've always wanted to do this. This is something I've always wanted to do. Never thought I would be able to. You really don't think you'd be able to, coming from a small town and a family who's not into wrestling, you know? But then once you get that little lick and opportunity, you kind of have to go. You have to go. Like once that camp started in December for Rise and Create, and I was in a completely different place in my life 6 months ago. I had a woman with two stepkids that I weren't mine, but I brought them in like my own, and things kind of went south when I started wrestling again. So had to step away from the relationship, and it was just I want to do this. This is my lifelong childhood dream. This is the only thing I've ever wanted to do with my life, and now I have an opportunity, and it was kind of a battle at the time. So I had to step away, and I made a choice at the time that wrestling has been there my whole life. Wrestling's been there my whole life, through the ups and the downs, through everything that's ever happened. And I went, it's here. God put it in my life again for a reason. Everything happens for a reason. And there was no going back. Once that camp opened, there was no going back. The mind started rolling, man. Once that camp opened, it was like, okay, now it's time for a character, because I already knew I had the passion for it. I have the passion. I have the athleticism. I have the psyche. I really have the psychological. It was just now, all right, now we got to go and get a place to put everything together. And now we're rocking and rolling. And there was no turning back. So it's just, yeah, I kind of went off the deep end there, but 2021 is when it was like, okay, now this is it. This is the fan in me kind of left that day in the business of the business. Now we can do this and make it real.
So, would you say in 2021, when you trained for those couple of months, was that the first time that, and I've heard some people say for myself, the very first time I got in the ring just to announce, I felt at home. I absolutely felt like this is where I needed to be for the rest of my life. Like it was incredible.
Likewise.
Some people don't. Some people feel that on their first day of training. Some people don't feel that until they feel comfortable in the ring when they've had a couple of matches. When did you feel that?
I felt that, I would say, within that second month, because like you said, it was more intimidating, very intimidating for me at first, because I was like, wow, this is happening. I started feeling the canvas. I'm like, this is actually in front of me. Like, I couldn't really believe it at first, and then that you take your first bump, and it's kind of an out of body experience. You cannot explain it to anybody. You just can't. It's the weirdest feeling you could ever feel that first bump. So it took a little bit. But that first bump was the worst. But then I started getting more comfortable with the snapping, getting more fearless and comfortable. And then it was just like, okay, now we're starting to kind of have fun here, you know. And then you start to meet your brothers and sisters, you know, and they make you feel at home. So it's just, and that's when it kind of starts to, all right, this is where you should be. This is where I belong. This is where I always should have been, you know, like because that's it. It's like nowhere else. Everywhere else, every job that I've ever had, you meet your good people along the way. You know the people that you reconnect with and stay. But man, the first time you step in the wrestling ring, every single person you train with, every single cameraman, every single announcer, every person is your brothers and sisters, and that is beyond anything that you could even hope for. That sometimes that's even better than even stepping in the ring, because it's like, man, this is a brotherhood that will be bonded forever. Wrestling is a brotherhood and sisterhood that you're bonded with forever. And it's yeah, man. I mean, it's those first couple, I'd say that second month, because then, you know, the training kind of stopped, and then we started doing ring crew, and that just made me feel in love with it even more. You know, it's like when my talent days are done, the business ain't done. This is the business I belong in. This is the business that no matter what I'm doing in this business, the wrestling business has made me a lot of the person that I am, honestly, because you watch this growing up, then that's where the intensity come from. That's where working out comes from. You know, like my parents obviously molded me to the core, to the person that I am, but like wrestling is just the comedy aspect. You know, it opened me up to so many things. It opens you up to so many things. I mean, you can go from the wrestling business to really anything you want, you know. So yeah, man. I mean, it's the greatest thing in the world, in my opinion.
You know, and you opened up like 15 avenues for me, so this is going to be amazing. I can't wait to fire these off. To be honest with you, the thing you said about the brotherhood, the sisterhood, I genuinely, like, as a human being, and I mean no disrespect to any family member or friend that I've had over the last 40 years, but I have never felt as much love, appreciation, or like respect, or even support than I have with the wrestling community. Like
100%.
And you know, the insane thing is, like, my daughter, she's 13 years old. Um, we've been doing what we've been doing for not even a year just yet, and she has built herself an amazing community. She has adopted wrestling parents. She has adopted wrestling grandparents. She got a nice video from her wrestling grandfather today. Nice motivational video. She has wrestling brothers and sisters and aunts and uncles, and we go to the shows, and it's always beautiful. We'll be like, hey, you know, shout out to Julie Cutler. I could shout out to all of these people all day, but you know, we saw Julie just a couple of weekends ago. We went to New Order Wrestling in Agawam, Massachusetts, and then as soon as the show was over, we drove in the car. We drove an hour and a half to Marlborough, Massachusetts, to watch the second half of Rebel Spirit Pro. So we actually watched two shows, you know, 1.5 shows, you could say, in a Saturday night, right? And you know, Julie Cutler said, so, you know, my daughter was like, hey, will you be my wrestling aunt? And Julie was so, you know, over the moon to get that honor of being the wrestling auntie. And
that's awesome.
You know, it is incredible. And once again, I mean no disrespect to anybody else in my family or whatever else, but the genuine level of support and love just from the people within my school or within the wrestling community that I've been fortunate enough to be a part of thus far is unlike nothing else that I've ever seen in my life. And I will go to my grave eternally grateful for those individuals. So when you say that to me, it touches a special part of my psyche at this point, because I'm so grateful. And I love the fact that you were talking about FSW, because when I went to sign up, my coach said the same thing. He's like, listen, how about you do like a month or something and see if you like it? Because once we take your money, we're not giving it back. So if you get in there one time and you're not a big fan of it, you don't want to piss all your money away.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, from for a bunch of people that came from the carnival, these people are really trying to not rip you off as best as they can. They literally just listen, man, I've seen too many people show up on day one thinking they're going to be the next Stone Cold Steve Austin. They bump 5 times, they crap their pants, and they run away. Like, don't be that guy, right?
Dude, a lot. Yeah, man, absolutely. Everyone thinks like, how do you just throw yourself back like that? Well, I mean, it's it takes a special breed, man. You know what I'm saying? That's why.
Really does.
That's why there's only a select few of us that can do what we do.
Right. And I was so dumb, or maybe you could say, I didn't even start at the beginner classes. I convinced myself to go straight to the advanced class. So like,
okay. You put your big boy pants on.
So there was some stuff that I was doing, and they're like, "You learned all that on your first day?" Yeah, well, I kind of went to the advanced class today, so I kind of had to learn a lot of stuff on the fly, and sometimes it's worked out pretty good, and sometimes it hasn't.
Correct.
And sometimes my coach is like, "All right, you're keeping up, you're good." Sometimes they're like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I'm just like, "All right," but I can tell you there was nothing better than going to my first class, coming home, and being like, I can do better tomorrow, right?
Oh, absolutely. Every day.
I can do better. I can do better.
Yep. That's when you work. He said, no.
I could do better tomorrow, man. I could do better. And you get the chance, right? You get the chance to go back in there and be like, listen, I fucked up today, but tomorrow's going to be better, and tomorrow's going to be better, and tomorrow's going to be better. And that's all you can do, really, is try your best,
man. Reps.
Put it in. I'm gonna fuck up the number here, but I know my coach was saying, I think like 2,000 times. They want you to do something 2,000 times before they say you really got it, because by that time you've not only done it enough times, but they you make it it's not just a habit, it's muscle memory at that point. And I'm like, makes sense. Like, it makes sense.
Absolutely.
It's a little more difficult for me because I'm 40 years old and everybody else.
Which, by the way, you look amazing for 40. I just want to throw that out there because I thought you said that earlier. I was like, damn, you're 40 years old. That's amazing. So I never in a million years thought that was the case. So good for you, my man.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, no, my oldest is actually 24.
Wow.
So,
that's impressive. Yeah, you don't look like you're barely a year over 24, my brother.
There you go. Put my twin brother's son next to me. Like, look at these two guys. Yeah, it's funny too, because I back in the day I used to get people all the time that thought my son was my brother, and I was like, I'd be like, yeah, little bro, you better be nice or I'm telling mom on you, and I just razz him.
You just fuck with him? Oh, that's hilarious.
And he's just looking at me like,
you
really,
little
dude?
shit ass.
Really, Dad? It's hilarious.
Hey, man, that's what they should hope for. Look like you when they're that age. You know what I'm saying? Take notes. Take notes from Dad.
You could do worse than this at 40, my friend.
That's right. That's right.
I've seen some rough stuff out there, and I'm just like,
yes. Oh man. Oh boy. You should be. You're in the top 1%, man. You're in the top 1%. So.
Brush your shoulders off, right?
Yeah. That's right. That's right.
So, once again, you hit on so many wonderful things that I kind of want to touch on a little bit. I love the fact that you did the whole reality of wrestling. Shout out to Booker T, because I mean,
absolutely.
five-time. The dude's a Hall of Famer. The dude's, incredible.
Hopefully, I can be there one day where he'll remember me for that. So
right,
it's
right.
absolutely.
And it's so. And we talked about this offline, and now my brain's going to want to go there, because you're talking about 2021 FSW, you're talking about getting into Rize and Create. And maybe I'll just say it for anybody who didn't go back and watch, or didn't watch the one with STD. Go back and watch it. If you didn't watch it, just to say it. Rize and Create is a full-fledged training camp for 12 weeks straight, where you guys just put the pedal to the metal, and you beat it down. So it's
Yep.
different than like our like school when I go to school and I do this and that. It's different in the way of you guys are kind of living it for 12 weeks, right? So
It's very different. Yes. FSW is just like in any other school. Like that's why I feel like I learned a lot. I learned that a lot just from those 2 months because I was going different days and learning from different coaches and learning different things on different days. So I learned a lot and I soaked everything up like a sponge. But that's different. You have different coaches. You work on different things. And with the camp, everything's structured from beginning to end. Like you're learning the rules, and you go from the rules to the ropes to your bumps, to your bumps, to your locking up. So it's just boom, 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 boom. Chain wrestling, then your moves, then your timing, then your conditioning drills. So you're doing the same thing every time you come in. You're just adding a little bit more. You know,
right,
just like
right,
just like you said, reps 2,000 times. You do a lockup 2,000 times. You do a headlock 2,000 times. Wrist locks, chain, just chain, learning how to work on the fly. You get your character. I was kind of ready to go. Like I was saying, my mind was already set in stone, man, on what I was working on hand signals. I was working on slogans, everything. So I was ready to go. But we're really trying to help everyone that comes in with our camp to leave with a character, to leave with music, to leave with a logo. So we're really trying to help you build in promo work, character work, get your backstory in play, and really play on all of that. So sometimes schools don't really offer that. You kind of have to figure it out for yourself after you get your training done. You know what I'm saying? So with us right now, we're in an availability to be able to offer that to almost everybody that comes through. Once you get your ducks in a row, and if you're ready at the end of those 12, not even if you're not ready, you should still have a character in mind. We'll work you through your theme music, come up with your backstory, what do you want your logo to look like, what do you want your hand sign to look like, all those things that are going to help market yourself out in the wrestling world. So it's just it's more than just putting on the boots and getting in the ring. It's
yeah.
Mark, you have
Especially
to know. Yeah, you got to learn to be one of the first things you say is you got to learn to be uncomfortable because we're in the business of spectating. We're a spectator sport, so you got to learn to, I'm still learning with the promos, man. I've always been one of those guys growing up with the uh, public speaking. Nobody likes to public speak. It's the most terrifying thing in the world. But it
I,
makes it. Yeah, yeah. Well,
I'm
that's
the
why you're really
exception. I'm
you're
the
really good
exception.
at your job. You're really good at your job. But that was one thing for me to learn to be uncomfortable, or learn to be comfortable with the uncomfortable. You just you just do it, man. You be yourself. You be authentic, and people are going to see how much you really care about it. You know what I'm saying? It's just when it's time to go and those lights are on, fucking turn that goddamn shit up to 10, and it's time. It's go time. So but yeah, that's kind of like the camp that we run. It's just a 12-week structured camp from beginning to end. You don't have to know a damn thing when you walk in, but at the end you're going to know a full structured match from the lockup to the shine to the heat to the cutoff to everything that they don't that you should know in a match. So the hope spots to the finish, the false finishes, all those things that that you're going to learn. So and then the rest is once you got your resume built and your character and your backstory and all that, then it's kind of just shoot your shot, man. That's what I did. It's like there's no like, okay, well, now I'm ready. No, you send your resume out and you hope that these companies see something valuable that you can bring to the table, and then you get an opportunity, and the opportunity that you get, you fucking run with it. You run until the wheels fall off because there's nothing promised in this business. So I am absolutely blessed to the core, man, to be in this business for about a year now with training in total, and I'm booked with 4 different companies in 4 different states. So it's a blessing. It's an absolutely blessing. And to see where I'm at now versus where I'm at 6 months ago, you know, um, I thank God every day I wake up for the position that I'm in because, like you said, support. I want to shout out to my guy Jake Davis. Jake Davis. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but he's a guy from the UK, man. He shares everything for me. He's like one of the first guys that are like, dude, you're a superstar, and I can't wait to see you make it. And I'm like, I don't even know this man. never met him in my life. He's from the United Kingdom, and I'm like, dude, I hope I get to work over there someday. So shout out to him, and those just people like that I've never met on the other side of the freaking world, man. Sharing me, hoping that I make superstardom because he sees something in me that, and that's what you want. You want to motivate people to be a better themselves. You know,
Absolutely.
that's
I
what the
mean,
golden
it's something.
standard is, baby.
There you go. It's something that I do, whether it's professionally or personally, because
Yep.
with my kids, for instance, I tell them all the time, I don't want you to be anything like me. I want you to be better than me
Be
in
like you.
every measure. And I want them to be successful in whatever they deem to be success,
Yeah.
right? So
Be,
if
be
they
like
measure success in a different manner than I would, absolutely do it. Just whatever it is, just smash the crap out of it.
yeah,
Whatever it is. But
yeah.
I've gotten into too many of those arguments with an ex-wife or two about, well, you just want the kids to be like you.
Uh, yeah.
Not at
See
all, actually.
that was yeah, see that was the kind of a thing with me. She was I'm not putting her down. Loved every minute of it. But when I was walking away at the time, it was feeding in the boys, why do you love wrestling more than us? That's not even the case. This is the one thing that I've had in my life, and I hope you have something like that in your life that you could chase. And if your
Right.
significant other at the time doesn't understand it and doesn't want to be a part of it, then you take the bitter pill, you swallow it, and you do what your heart tells you to do because you only got one life, man. And that's you got one life. And it's like
Yep.
wrestling has been a part of my life my whole life. And if I can, you're 40, I'm 30. We ain't getting any younger. If
Nope.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like you do this now before you can't do it. And that's why I feel like God blessed it in my life again for a reason. So that's why I was like, nah, no, I will never, like I said, I had a different mind for wrestling. It was going into the business, but a different line of business. Now, dude, it's like, no, I'm gonna go and show my case my talent and my athleticism, my skills of a human being, and show people that this is what I should have been doing a long time ago. I've always told my mama growing up, man, that I wasn't built for no 9 to 5 job. I was not. I worked too damn hard in the gym, every job. I've always stood out everywhere I've went. It's like I'm more than that. I want to be somebody. I want somebody to play a video package of me and fucking cry. You know what I'm saying? That's because you leave a legacy behind. You want to leave something, a mark on one person or a million people. Doesn't matter. So
So what makes you believe you're built different than everybody else? I'm curious.
I'm not gonna say built different. It's just it's a lot of professional wrestlers I can say are built different because they don't stop. They don't let the grind stop. They don't let the grind stop when they have their mind set on something. There's nobody or anybody that's gonna tell them otherwise. It's we're in a business that some people say, oh, you're never gonna make it. Some people say, oh, you're gonna be the biggest star in the world, but it doesn't matter as long as you don't stop. Your whole life can change the next day. And I say I'm built different just because, man, we're nonstop. Regardless, it's you find you're nonstop, and that's what I feel like a certain level of a lot of us are built different if we're doing what we're doing because we're not just sitting back and doing the 9 to 5 and going home and just drinking and partying and doing all that stuff. No, it's like we're grinding. We got a vision. We have a legacy to leave here. It's like we're not just the average human being. We want to be one of the people that motivate people. That's why The Rock, man. I mean, those people, John Cena, Randy Orton, those are people that leave an everlasting mark on the world because of what they've done and who they are. You know, and when you show people that you bust your ass and you're built different, that shows. That shows that you're not just no ordinary person. It's just I feel like what that's kind of what I mean. I'm not saying I'm built different than everybody else. Wasn't built for no like factory job or nine
Right,
to
right,
five.
right.
I've
You
worked in.
know, no, I was gonna say like Kiss has a beautiful song where they talk about how it's never too late to work 9 to 5, and it's
Oh,
absolutely
yeah,
true.
yeah,
It's absolutely true.
yeah. So yeah, I agree. But to a certain extent, because like if you're happy and you're content, then hey, by all means, you should be happy to what you're doing. Now, the people that stay in their position and be miserable, that's something that I'll never understand, you know, because I've been there and I've fixed the situation. If you don't like the position you're in, if you don't like the situation you're in, you have all the power in the world to change it. You make the decisions of everything, you know. So yeah.
No, I mean I couldn't agree with you more. I've said it on the podcast. I've said it on the channels a few times. You know, nobody wakes up when they're 60 and they're like, oh, I should have been a tax accountant, right? They're not. I should have been a customer care representative. Okay, nobody's doing that. But they sit there and they're like, oh, why didn't I
What?
play again? Why didn't I stay with the
Exactly.
guitar? Why didn't I wrestle? Why didn't
Yep.
I
Yep.
sing? Why didn't I do this?
Yep.
Why did that? Me at 40, I would certainly say blessed from the Most High here, but I was very fortunate enough to get a daughter who thank you, Shannon Levangie. Let me shout out to Shannon. Thanks to Shannon Lavangie's incredible in-ring attributes, my daughter fell in love with independent professional wrestling immediately, and because of
Oh,
that, it afforded me these possibilities that I couldn't have done before because she comes first, right?
oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
I didn't go to class today. Why? Because my daughter had a chorus concert. Otherwise I'd be in class for the next hour or so, right? Because your children should come first unless you want to not be a good parent, I guess.
Yeah.
But um, you know, my daughter saying, "Hey, we can spend our weekends at wrestling shows." Oh, okay, amazing.
That's
I can
amazing, dude.
Exactly. I Now she wants to be a wrestling photographer. I literally spent the last 3 days um, editing 8,388 photos that she took over the last 4 or 5 or 6 months, whatever it is. And
That's
for
some
anybody
work
who
right
needs,
there, my friend. All right.
oh my God, let me tell you, it was a lot of photos, and there's still 4,000 more that I need to get off of her camera and
Oh
put
man.
into the cycle. It took me it was some work, my friend, and
Oh,
it's
it
overdue,
sounds like it, man. That's
long overdue. But luckily,
the
I was
things you
able
do for your kids. That's all that matters.
100%, and hopefully, um, tomorrow I'll be able to go through them and make sure they're to my because I say they're done now, but I might go look at them tomorrow and be like, these aren't done. You know what I mean? So hopefully when I check them again tomorrow, they look as good as I want them to look because
Yeah.
it is what it is. But you know, fortunately, I was able to get back into the professional wrestling universe, and it's kind of funny. And I haven't said this out loud on air, and I've been wanting to say it out loud on air. So I saved it. I saved it for this one, right? And I've said this to many people in person at this point. It's hilarious to me that I'm known in my social circles for the past 30 years, 30, 40 years, as being the loud guy, right? I was known as being the wrestling fan. I'm originally from
Okay.
Lowell, Massachusetts. We're known for being very loud people, right?
Yeah.
It is a badge of honor for someone from Lowell, Massachusetts to be told they're loud. You're like, of course, damn right. All right.
Yes.
I'm the loudest SOB in this room, and I will die fighting for that.
The
For that.
compliment.
All
That's
right.
right.
So, um, for me though, it's hilarious that I sat there for so long talking about how I wanted to be in wrestling, and I'm also the super loud person, right? So you have these two things, and not one person was like, "You should merge them together and do that for a living." Like,
Hey, I'm. That's right.
it's wild. It's
That's
absolutely wild.
that's amazing. That's actually amazing though, because that's like two of your favorite things. Favorite things. You know.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
exactly,
there's
exactly.
nothing better. So it's. I mean, yeah, man. You just you're doing what you love right now. Exactly, and it's just yeah.
It's it's
It's all matters.
that's all that matters. It really is. So
And you got your daughter into the business that you love, and that's all. That's a blessing that you got to kind of step back from and be like, wow, this is. I'm so glad that she enjoys this.
right,
Yeah,
right.
and
And,
that's what.
It is. It is. I could say short shout out to Corey Von Quest. That guy's the best. He was just on the podcast. It actually hasn't dropped as of today. It's not going to drop till like June something. I'm doing these well in advance, everybody, to make my life so much easier.
It's good. It's good.
Also because that's what professionals do. I don't know. Maybe. And
Yeah.
you know,
I take all my
he
pictures and then post them, like I was saying. So.
right, exactly. I have so he was on the podcast and he saw my daughter and I doing our thing. You know, I have the video camera recording, she has the photography camera taking pictures, and he was just like, "Oh man, I could really tell how much she loved the business." And it was like, "Oh my god, talk about a proud dad moment."
Yeah.
You know
It's
what I mean?
amazing. It's
It's
amazing.
like anytime, and now she's able to walk up to all these people. Like, shout out Rich Palladino. Rich Palladino is the goat. I will
Shout
go
out
to my
Rich.
grave with that one. Rich Palladino has been an announcer for
Yeah.
32 years in New England. He is a New England Hall of Fame announcer. He is
Awesome.
literally the king of New England, in my opinion. He's the godfather of New England wrestling. Um, and when he says you're in the club, you're in the club. All right.
That's
So
right.
when Rich turned to my daughter recently at Limitless Wrestling and said to her, "You know, look at you. You used to be so quiet. Now you're telling me all this stuff." And she was like taken aback for a second, like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, "No, no, 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 no. I'm proud of you. Like, you're doing great. You're one of us, kid. Don't worry about it." And I
That's
was like,
awesome.
"Did you hear it? You heard it from the Godfather himself. He said you're one of us. You're all set, my friend.
Yeah.
You don't need
That's
nothing
cool.
else. You got it from him. All right,
Yep.
you're in." So
You're one of the guys scouts now. Oh shit.
there you go. She's in the group, and you know we've already talked to the same wrestling school. When she turns 16, she's gonna join wrestling school.
Yeah.
She'll be
Awesome.
right there with me, and I cannot wait.
Yeah. That's cool, man. We just got a new guy start at the camp as well. Shout out Ryan. So he's 17, about to turn 18 here in just in a couple months. So and him and his dad are in there every day. And he's learning. So I was like, it's amazing because he has something I didn't have. My dad is not a fan of wrestling. you know,
Right?
so it's cool. It's cool to see. I was like, man, you got a really good jump start on this. You're 17 and you're already in here taking bumps, learning the ropes. I was 25 before I took my first
Right?
bump. So it's amazing.
I know. I'm 40. That was my first time taking a real bump. First time getting a real ring was 40. So like,
Yeah.
even announcing was 40. So, you know, I have to thank guys like John Janus, Cody, the other Cody. Sorry, I should have pointed that out. They're talking about wrestling fans here in New England that we see on a regular basis. Randy of the Rocks. I don't know why you call yourself that. I never got the thing. Uh, you guys always show up to like every show that me and my daughter are at, and you're always saying like super nice things, wonderful things.
Shout out.
But I've heard them on several occasions go, "Damn, I wish my dad liked wrestling."
Yep. Yep. Yep.
And I'm
So
like, you know what? You're not wrong. That would well, to be fair, my dad loved wrestling when I was a kid, but you know, it's a different. It is. He didn't. He's not a this. He's not a this, right?
yeah. Dave, my dad either.
Whatever,
He even told.
yeah, whatever the
Yeah.
fuck this is, he's not this.
My dad even told me, man, like last couple weekends I was over there, he said, I'm so proud of you because I was so content with just being the blue collar hard worker. I was like, yeah, no, that's like I was telling my mom, I just feel like that's not, I got to share everything that I have in my mind and heart and, everything, God put me in this body, in this mind for a reason. I got to share it with the world, like, so
Exactly. And
yeah.
there's not a damn thing wrong with a man like your father.
Oh,
Solid
hell
guy.
no.
Hey, you know what?
No.
I want to have this one job and live a simple life and whatever else. Awesome. We need
Absolutely.
millions of those guys. We need millions of them because number one,
Yes.
who else is going to consume the stuff? And number two, who's gonna do everything?
Correct. We need paramedics, firefighters. We don't need everybody like us to do this. You know what I'm saying? So, are you still there? You're frozen.
Yeah.
Okay. There you are. Okay. Yeah, but we absolutely like with the world, the way it's going with the content creating and the video is it's hopefully we got that more. Hopefully we don't lose more of that, because yes, I completely agree. We do need our servers and people that the oil change people and all that shit. So because I don't want to do it.
I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, man. Someone's got to do it. And
Yeah, exactly. So God bless all of you.
right, right. Some people that is their passion. They're like, dude,
Right.
I work on this machine and I think it's amazing. And it's like, awesome, dude. You're crushing it right now. You
Absolutely.
found your perfect job. You're doing your thing. You're crushing it. And we need whatever the hell it is that you're making. So keep going, bro. Keep going.
Yeah.
Someone's got to do that stuff.
Yeah. That's what
Amazing.
I'm saying. As long as you're happy, if you're happy, man, like there's something out there for everybody. Just like wrestling, there's something for everybody. You just got to go find it. Don't be miserable. Find out what you enjoy. Find out what makes you spark. You know.
Of course. Yeah, I really didn't think I'd ever get the opportunity, so I'm very fortunate, very blessed that my
Likewise, brother.
daughter. We've talked about the wrestling. I'm kind of curious. When did you start doing um like let's say, you talked about like the martial arts, the amateur wrestling and then the men's physique competitions. Like when
Yeah.
did that when did that all play into this?
Um. Well, I've always been like ecstatic with like bodybuilding, and amateur wrestling. I won. That's one, like we talk about. I wish we would have done this. Wish we would have done that. So one thing I wish I would have done is amateur wrestling in high school, because I felt like I would have done really well after going into no gi jiu jitsu. Because my buddy, shout out Eric Brazil, he is the professor black belt that runs Carlson Gracie Jiu Jitsu out here in Kingman, Arizona, and which is good. That's a Gracie gym. So if you're ever looking in Kingman, Arizona, that's where the place to go. Um, I went there. He runs it, so I went there, and I competed one time in a grappling competition. So I just after I did FSW, I wanted to work on my chain wrestling, but I wasn't be able to go back, and I wanted to find a place in town. So that's where that came upon. I went and found a no gi grappling jiu-jitsu, and I started taking grappling jiu-jitsu, and I did a competition then. Uh, Bodybuilding. I did my first competition in 20. It was late 2021, and I just went for it. I was just like, it's something that I kind of always wanted to do. I wanted to test myself to see if I can do a prep, like an actual like cutting prep and stuff. And I've always just been fascinated with the bodies and stuff like that. So I did that, and it went really really well, went really really well. Um, and then another one in 2024. So I just did another physique competition in 2024 as well, and that one went really really well. Did two different companies for that. One of them, the first one was OCB, and the second one was NPC. So their first one was naturally tested. The second one was not, but like I said, I went in there both natural. I'm a natural competitor. Um, but yeah, man, bodybuilding. That's when wrestling is kind of, you see these big behemoths guys, so that's kind of where bodybuilding came from. And then grappling, I was really good. We used to grapple back in the day, like when we were kids, with all my best friends, and I was really good. I was like half of their size, literally tapping them out and judo throwing them and doing crazy stuff that I shouldn't be able to do at my size. So I've just always been really good at that, and that's kind of just transferred over to no-gi jiu-jitsu. And then bodybuilding, I really wanted to test myself because I've always loved the gym. The gym is, one of my sacred places. So I did that, did a really good prep, did a really good cut. I hired a coach from Australia, and shout out Andy Naylor for helping me with my first prep. Did a great job. I won first and third, and it was great. Second show, 2024, I hired three-time Mr. Olympia champion Ryan Terry, um, and they got me ready for the Phoenix Championships, which was amazing because I stepped on that stage with people running stuff, and I walked in as a natural competitor, and I kept up. I looked like I was $1 million compared to those guys. They had more size on me, but that's given from what for PEDs and stuff. But yeah, man. So that's kind of where that came from, and then wrestling has just always been there, obviously. But yeah, so I'll never really stop. I still train here and then when I can with Eric. But my focus just has been on wrestling lately, that I haven't had a chance to get over there recently. And then later this year, my best friend of 20 years is finally, after all this time, he's going to finally step on stage for bodybuilding. And he said he'll probably never do it again. So I told him, all right, one final time before I kind of launch into the stratosphere with wrestling. Pray. I will compete. I'll do a prep with you, and we'll step on stage together. So we're gonna do that, and I wouldn't be doing it if it wasn't my best friend of 20 years, but it means a lot to both of us. It's something that we've talked about for a long time. So yeah, come July, man, I'll be starting in prep again for November, and I'll compete in the Las Vegas Natural City of Lights in November.
So it sounds like this year is going to be a wild ride for you there.
100, and that's what I live for, brother. So it's wouldn't want it any other way.
Absolutely. And I got to give you props for a few different things you've said over the course of this conversation. Number one, you were willing, ready, and able to say, you know what, I have you had this relationship, but you knew in your heart that wrestling was the thing you wanted the most. It's not easy for people to walk away from that type of thing, but it's what it sounds like to me, at least you can correct me.
Oh, it affects me to this day, brother. So it's
Right.
you just learn to keep going. So,
and honestly, it's par for the course. I've had so many wrestlers tell me all that, whether it's, missing birthdays, missing holidays, missing pretty much everything in anyone's life, right? It's, I mean, obviously
that's sacrifices.
Right. The sacrifices are not few and far between when it comes to the wrestling business. You got to sacrifice all the time if you want to make it.
A lot.
You literally are always missing out on something. It doesn't matter what you're doing. And and it's not even just, the crazy thing is, you could get booked at place A and then you find out place B through Z is in town as well. And you're like, I could have, would have, should have been at place F, and they would have paid me more, and it would have been a bigger venue, and yada yada yada. There's always that.
What if, or you never know.
Exactly. It's always there. It's always there, and
that's where it started.
Right. Yeah. I always have to take a step back and tell people, hey, you know what? You're not alone, man. We all are there. Not to say that you wouldn't have already known that, but just for my own, logical conclusion here, just to point that out, because support's always appreciated.
Absolutely, dude. That's why I said we've got to support each other.
100%. We do, because if we don't, who the fuck will? Let's be real. Who the fuck will? If we're in the same boat, man, we're literally trying to, you're trying to be a wrestler. I want to be ring announcer. I've been talking about commentating. I've been talking about managing. I've been working on a managing character. It's getting pretty dark.
Yeah, Red Dude.
I'm not gonna peel back the onion here. I'll tell you after the podcast, but I'm not gonna say it in the podcast. I want to see them. They're gonna debut it. And then
keep kayfabe, brother. Keep kayfabe.
Exactly. So, but the idea is that, we just gotta support each other. So, gotta make sure to say that to you, because.
Hey, God bless. Thank you, man. I appreciate it very, very, very much. It's like my everyone knows it's an emotional roller coaster, but you want to know what? The passion of wrestling never stops the fuel, because I keep feeling.
Really, I know it's
all that matters.
It's kind of crazy. Even right now, I wouldn't mind doing this. I wouldn't mind bringing my laptop to the class, and then if they let me.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind bringing a laptop to class and being like, you know what, right? Can I just do an hour and then jump?
That should have been okay.
I would have done half an hour. Can I just do 12 bumps or something and then do it?
Because then you'd be plugging the school in too. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So, but it's just once you get part of that all-consuming lifestyle,
Correct.
it is difficult to explain to the outside universe, and they probably will never get it, so you don't really have to waste your time. But
Correct.
for us being in that space already, we got to support each other. And the idea that you're doing this with your best friend of 20 years as well, that's
Oh yeah.
that's incredible. You know what I mean?
Oh
Like
yeah.
you're giving him that support. You guys are going to be going through all of that together,
Dude.
and you're going to have that, not to say you don't already have a bond already after 20 years, I'd hope so, but
Oh yeah.
you're
We
always
work
going to
together too,
have
so it's
that.
cool.
Exactly. So you're always gonna have that, hey, remember in November we did this thing, like that's just gonna be there. That's always gonna
Yeah.
be there. So
The coolest thing about him is he was a big boy growing up. He was a big. We met in 5th grade, and he was a big boy. He got picked on a lot for being big, and he changed his life around, man. He's leaner right now than he's ever been his whole life. And I was like, oh, dude, I can't wait to see you in prep because he's like conceited right now. I was like, yes, like put your muscles down. And, I was like, man, you're going to be conceited when you can see your abs for the first time in your entire life,
right,
So I'm
right.
excited. I'm more excited for him than for me. So
That just shows you're such a good friend, man. I know
yeah.
I think the same way for my brother Michael. My brother Michael, he was picked on, he was the bigger guy. And it made me have like body dysmorphia, honestly. Like I literally just watching how much he struggled, watching people be as rude as they were, it made
Harsh.
me self-conscious, right? Where I could be, I mean, when I was hardcore into DDP yoga, I was 135 pounds of pure core. Like I could lift 200, like 150 pound, 200 pound pieces of furniture with like one hand and go like this and walk around with it because
Dang.
it was ridiculous. My core was out of control. It made no sense, but I was doing DDP yoga like hours a day. You're supposed to do like 20 minutes a day. I did like 3 or 4 things a day for like 7 months, and I
That's
dropped 80 pounds, and my core
oh,
strength was magnificent. It was insane. Even at that
that's
point,
amazing.
I still didn't want to take my shirt off because my brain was so self-conscious that I
Oh
felt like
wow.
the fattest guy in the room. Like literally. Literally, I was 135 pounds. Even, what's wild is when I was a freshman in high school, it was like 115, 117 pounds. And I did ROTC, JROTC, and I did weightlifting. And I was in pretty good shape. I ran pretty good mile. I was 115 pounds, but I always wore extra large shirts because I felt like a fat ass. And it's like, it, you know what I mean? It's wild how that shit can really get with you. So like when I see my brother he's been working his ass off, like working out like so much over the last couple of years. He's in really great shape, and I see his
Awesome.
pictures on the internet and he's flexing and shit. Like I'm so proud of him and I'm just so happy for him. So I can get a taste of like what you're talking about, right? I can
Oh
just
yeah.
get a
Oh yeah.
small taste of like the idea of like because my brother he goes on hikes. He goes like not for like miles. He goes for like hours, like 3 or 4 hours up in air. He lives in Phoenix,
Wow.
so
Wow.
he goes for hours in like White Tank Mountain, South Mountain, all
Wow.
that stuff. He just goes and goes and goes. He's always taking beautiful pictures, and he works for a distribution center. So like he gets like
Dang.
2 or 3 miles just doing his job, walking around the DC. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So he gets 2 or 3 miles walking around DC, working his job, and then he goes and does like 40, 50, 60 miles walking around a fucking
Wow.
mountain. So like
That's crazy.
it's you know what I mean? It's you gotta shout out to those guys, man, because
Absolutely.
it's not easy to get over those times in your life and better yourself. So good
Absolutely.
on your buddy to be able to do that, and he's gonna have at least this one particular notch in his belt where he's like, all right,
Yep.
I can put my hat on this. I did
Correct.
this. I was the guy here in 5th grade who was people said this shit,
That's right.
and now here I am at this age, and I did this. So
Yep.
that is a
I
big
can't. Yeah. Shout out to
anyway.
Frankie Gandera. Yes,
There you
sir.
go. Shout out Frankie, man. Good for
Yeah.
him. I can't wait to see you
It's
smash
gonna be
his
good,
head.
man. Yeah. Look, November, you'll get to see it. November. It'll be
100%.
good.
It's gonna be great. I'm very very excited for you guys for sure. It
Thank
sounds
you.
amazing.
Thank you, man. But God bless you.
So we've talked about all this stuff. I know it could only make wrestling better. I know you said you have 4 upcoming,
I do.
and my brain's trying to wonder if any of those past July 4th. What? What? Let's shout out the 4 bookings you have if you can.
Okay, so the one I got, so the one of the ones, and so I'll start with June 13th. I'm going to Longview, Washington, and I'll be with Pacific Wrestling Federation. I got a match there versus the Jakari Frost. And then I was supposed to have a I'll plug him in. I got a promo I'm gonna be cutting here very soon, so you'll see
All
it.
right.
And then the next day I was supposed to have a triple threat, but it got cut. I'll still be at the promotion. I'm still gonna go meet the locker room and help and everything like that. But the triple threat match got cut because I couldn't find a later flight. So unfortunately they couldn't switch the card around, and that's fortunately that's how it goes. I won't make my flight in time with the show getting over in time and getting a 45-minute back to the airport. It just wouldn't work
Right.
out. So I told them that I'd be there to help set up. I'll be there to meet the locker room, and that's going to be a really good promotion because um, I want to say one of the promoters. I don't know if they're autistic, but it's a company with that supports autism, which is amazing because that's my brother. It's my older brother. And I was already telling him I can't wait to bring him along and to meet everybody because this is where Dreamheart is formed for both of us.
Right.
So I can't wait to bring him in to that company. So that company is called Inclusion Pro Wrestling. So 13th in Washington is Pacific Wrestling Federation, PWF, and then the 14th will be, I want to say, in Portland. I want to say it's in Oregon, right across the bridge, uh, and that'll be a Inclusion Pro Wrestling. So I'll be back. I won't be wrestling on the card there, but I will be back there in the future. And then July 4th, I will be in Crestline, California, for Brawling Brews. That is the name of the promotion. So I'll be there for that. I don't have my opponent just yet for that. And then in August, I also have another booking in Kearney, Arizona for Copper Basin Wrestling. So I'm booked for 4 of those, and yeah, we're rocking and rolling, man. So I got stuff going for the next couple months, and I'll start my prep in July for the bodybuilding, and we're just I will take October and November off for wrestling for the show because I really want my body to dial in, and I don't want to get hurt in the ring with being
Right.
so lean and stuff. So I will take October and November off, but we're gonna be rocking and rolling, taking every single bookings until we can, man.
Yeah, and you absolutely answered my next question, which I love it. I love when people do that because then it seems to me like the story you wanted to tell and the story I wanted to hear are the same fucking story. So
Yeah,
I was going to ask if you were going to if you were going to take time off because it would make sense. So it makes sense to get as many bookings in between now and then as
correct,
possible so that you can
correct,
focus on that particular time frame, and then
one
let's
hundred
say
percent.
December you can get back to it, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. Once that show is over, I mean, literally the moment after, I'll be
Right.
ready to go again. So it's just I feel like that's the best thing to do with my body at a time being so lean. And I snap when I don't take no bumps lightly. So yeah, I just feel like I'll lock in those last 2 months to really get the best physique possible, and then we're back and rock and rolling for the wrestling scene.
Right, right. And that's, it's wonderful, man, because you know, um, I shout out to Bustin for Autism. There are so many wonderful
Yep.
organizations that are just trying to make sure that everyone's included and no one's left behind. If you're a
Fucking it.
wrestling
Yep.
fan, doesn't matter if you have you're neurodivergent or, I've seen
Doesn't
people
matter.
who have, physical limitations, but
Yeah, it
we
doesn't
make
matter.
sure that if you're part of the group,
You're
you're fucking coming along for the ride, my friend.
That's right.
We're
Right.
not leaving you behind. It doesn't matter
Nope.
what we got to do to get you to the dance. You're coming to the dance. So
Yep. Like
I
I was
always
saying
have
earlier, man, brothers and sisters, it doesn't matter if they're the fans, the production, everybody is a family in the wrestling world. Because
100%.
it's subjective. Everybody has an opinion, but it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, the person sitting next to you, you're all here for one reason.
Exactly.
So
Exactly. And we all started as wrestling fans. Doesn't matter
everyone,
if you are
everyone.
the promoter or the wrestler or whatever it is. And
Yeah.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
now you switched over and you're not the fanboy anymore. But we all started as that fanboy, man. We
Yeah.
all started as that super fan that wanted to do, and some people just want to consume it. And awesome, thank you, because then
Correct.
we have a job, right?
That's right. Absolutely. And that,
Consuming, please.
yeah, we need them spectators, man. Yes, sir.
We
But
need the
like, yeah,
spectators.
yeah.
It makes it. Once again, COVID wasn't fun without spectators. It wasn't fun, right, guys?
Yeah.
So keep showing
Yeah.
up, and quite frankly, in this day and age, they're. I know I hate talking about them, but WWE, they're running a house show in Manchester, New Hampshire, a small venue, and the front row seats are $1,000.
What?
It's a house show in
No,
a
are
building
you
that
are
can.
you
I'm
fucking with me?
I'm so serious because my daughter and I pre TKO, the house shows and other stuff around here, especially, we used to get free tickets. I'm a veteran, right?
Okay.
And there's Vet Tix. Vet Tix loves to hook up veterans with all kinds of tickets, and whether it's that or a radio, there's a radio station that's in Manchester, New Hampshire. I'm in Peterborough. They're in Manchester, about an hour away. I used to live over
Okay.
there, and they would always hook it up too, because once again they love veterans. So for anybody who hooks up us veterans, I fucking love you so much. Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I genuinely appreciate it.
God
And,
bless you, Merle. God bless you. Thank you for your service.
and it's like, thank you for that. But like, they hooked it up, and now it's like the nosebleeds are $100.
Yeah.
It's a house show on a Thursday, I think it is. A Thursday.
That's crazy.
A house show on a Thursday or a Saturday or something like that. And it's a house show. The nosebleeds are like 125, and the front row was 1,000. And it's like,
That's wild.
it's a house show, guys.
Dude, 3 years ago, that 3 years ago, when that whole relationship happened and stuff, we were, I want to say, what, fifth or sixth row on the entrance. I paid like $200. It was pretty wild. This was crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
Exponentially, the price of the ticket, and that's why I say to people, go to independent wrestling instead. The WWE is not the only wrestling company in the world. They might be the biggest wrestling company in the world.
Yeah.
They might own the most other wrestling companies. There's nobody else who owns WCW, ECW. The rights they bought Evolve, which was a huge independent wrestling promotion in Boston, Massachusetts.
Same thing with TNA. They merged with TNA too.
So it's like they have their catalog. They're putting it here, there, whatever. Yeah. They have the biggest catalog in history. I get it, but they're not the only thing in town, guys. You're better off paying $15 for, like, let's say, the 4th of July show. The front rows for that is $30. With all due respect, I would rather pay $30 for that front row seat and see. Quite frankly, there's some of the best damn wrestlers in New England on that card at this point. Guys like T.J. Crawford, Love Doug, Breadwinners, amazing people who I call friends, or people who have just had the luxury of having them on the podcast or being able to talk to them at many various shows.
Yep.
The fact that I could see them front row for $30 and save myself 999 like $70, like, are you serious? Like,
no shit, dude.
No means no, guys. It means that in every sense of the fashion. For what I would pay for one of those tickets, I could pay for a year's worth of independent shows easily.
Literally.
And it would be so much better. The Wrestling Open every Thursday night in Worcester, Massachusetts at the White Eagle, the world famous White Eagle. They have, I think it's $10 for the basic ticket. So that's 52 weeks, right? 52 weeks a year, $520. Stay with me, guys. Just go. You could pay for that just by not going to one house show.
Yeah.
With these other guys. So
it's come and support independent wrestling, man, because then you're gonna see people like STD and Cody Dreamheart.
Yeah, exactly.
It's and sometimes it's better, dude. Because it's not just so just this. I mean, with WWE, it's so much of a corporation that you have to everything has to be perfect. Like
Right, right.
so
Mm,
it's nice to see some realism out there in the world with professional
exactly.
wrestling.
So, we've talked about so many different avenues that you're going down this year, especially. But you're also an assistant coach at Rise and Create, right?
Yeah,
What
yeah.
what made you want to you're the first person to go through this super camp and you're like the first graduate. What made you want to not only work on competing but work on training that next generation, right? This 17-year-old kid Ryan you're talking about. Like what made you want to give back in that way?
Um, well, that's really just a part of the business as well, man. Like I love this. I love it. So it's like being in there and showing somebody that loves it just as much as I did, or just as much as I do. There's really nothing that's amazing, because then it's like you don't know. Again, him being like young and me getting in the business, you don't know if you're going to get to work with these guys later down in the line, So it's giving back to the business is a big part of the business, Like it's I go back to like what I said. It's about it being a selfish business, but we're also brothers and sisters. It's like you're going to get what you want out of the business for yourself. Also, it's going to elevate you, but you're going to put so many people. You're going to affect so many people, and then when you're done, say in ring, you could still help and elevate so many people just by being in the ring or the psychology of things, just the littlest things. Like I'm not like a veteran or anything, so like when I start my probably assistant coaching will, I'd say when I start getting booked more, would probably get pushed back. He'll have to find somebody more. But man, I just loved it. I've always loved coaching. I've always been a like in the gym. When everybody, I'm like one of the kind of only guys. I'd say I'm not the only guy from like my class who's just stuck with it. The past, you know, 10 years, 11 years, I've stuck with it. And like these people are like, how do you stay so lean or how do you stay in good shape when you're this age? It's like because I hadn't stopped. Because consistency. When you just keep going, and when you can get embed that in the brain of other people, whether it's whatever they're doing or the teaching them, it's really rewarding. It's more rewarding than sometimes seeing yourself because you can in your head you can work. You're a hard worker and you're going to go out there and show up and show out and at times. But then when you help another person get over that fear and then they go out and they're like, oh my god, thank you for that extra let's push, or oh thank you for showing me this. It's like absolutely, now take that and fucking run with it. You know, um, yeah, yeah. That's just I mean that's hey man, that's a part of the golden standard. That's just there's standards, and being the golden standard is helping everybody rise to the best standard of they possibly can. And there's nothing higher than gold, man. you know.
You know,
So
it's just great to hear because I mean, first of all, you got a lot on your plate as it is. Let's be real. Um,
yeah, there's a
but
lot, but I like to juggle. I like to juggle all those things. That's why the owner of the nutrition shout out Nutrition One. Also, so that's the company that I've been with, and they're a major part of everything that's happened in my life. Um, but I thank him all the time. I said thank you for letting me juggle wrestling, managing the store, the gym, training, and all these things. Thank you because that's what he does. He has 5 different businesses, and he juggles all this with the gym, with competing, and it's like if I can see you do it and you thrive and you're happy and I've never seen a down on your face. If you could do it, then I can do it too. So it's just you just hopefully meet that person, man, that you just can bring the best out of you, and that's something in wrestling too. When you wrestle people, sometimes they bring the best out of you. So
right, and you talked about it earlier. You got to be comfort. You got to find comfort in the uncomfortable because this
correct.
business is uncomfortable AF. Let's be
Oh
honest, guys.
yes, it
If
is.
you if you have never run those ropes and gotten those black and blue marks all over your body, maybe you haven't seen it yet, but you can go back and look at my pictures for sure because I know I've gotten some
Oh
bumps
yeah.
and scrapes and all kinds of stuff along the way, and you you really gotta live in that universe. And The odd thing I think for me is I've always lived an uncomfortable life, so it's just kind of par for the course.
That's
If
good.
any,
That's good.
it
Not
really
really
is.
good, but
Well, yeah,
yeah, it's
it's
prepared
hard.
you. I should
It
say it's
yeah,
prepared you.
certainly prepared me, right? It certainly has prepared me, but it's something I break down to my daughter, especially because I know she's going to want to get into and she's pretty much pledged to school, the school when she gets to 16. So I've tried to like break it down psychologically, and anytime I have a class, like I literally give her like a report to some extent. Obviously, I'm not going to give her the
Nice.
secret recipes or anything, but
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know, I I want her to understand that hey, your father's human and he's doing things, and he's learning, and he's because most people at 40 aren't like, hey, let me go try this wrestling thing real quick. That's not what most people by my age are like winding down because they've been
Yeah,
using the card for too
yeah.
long, right?
Correct,
So
correct.
there is a certain level of, I mean, I was like I said, I was in the army for a while. I did the MMA. There's some trainings that I learned that now I have to unlearn because a headlock, as you would know, a headlock when you're trying to actually kill them is completely different than when you're trying to not actually kill them.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah. It
there
was
are a few
very yeah.
times where I snap into a headlock and they're like, dude, you need to calm down. And I'm like, ah, my bad, bro. Like,
You're too stiff.
too stiff. I get the too stiff a lot. They're like the tap, especially when we lock up and I'm like, and my
Yeah.
coach goes by, he's
Yeah.
like,
Yep. That's
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 it.
teaching. Yep. That's this new gentleman Ryan. You know, he's new to all this. So when he first time locking up, it's like, hey, we like each other. Chill out.
Right.
You
Exactly.
know.
Exactly. I'm just like, but my drill sergeant said I had to murder you, but that's the wrong thing. You know what I mean?
That's awesome. That's
Shout
cool.
out to drill. He taught me, my drill sergeant Greenlee, he taught me the idea of perception is reality. And
That's a fact.
he loved to say that if we ever failed, it's because he failed to give us the tools to be successful. And those are some absolutely gems in my life that have shaped everything I've done since being a 17-year-old kid in the army. Let's be
Wow.
honest.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. Layla,
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Um, you know, but yeah, it's so great to hear that you almost like immediately went through the training and then like, oh, I'm gonna teach the next guy. Like that's some people would, I mean, and it shows how comfortable you are in the uncomfortable because not too many people would go through that training and then immediately be like, oh, well, I'm confident enough in myself to train the next kid. Like some
Yeah.
people would want to wait until a certain time frame or they've had a certain number of
Well,
matches or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm still learning things as well.
well,
Like, we're, it's a very structured camp. You know, I'm learning all my like acrobatic stuff and flying moves and, big crash pad stuff. I'm kind of learning all that on the fly. Like with the camp is just going to teach you where, it's literally timing, moves. Moves will come in time with timing and who you're working with. It's literally just about having your match, your psychology, the match structure, selling, knowing how you're selling, telling a story, and then knowing enough moves to where you could put a match together. The crazy, everything else is kind of, you're pretty much going to learn out on the fly with people. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
yeah,
confident in my skills, but I haven't went out and done pile drivers and crazy, like nothing crazy yet. So but I do feel confident enough to teach somebody how to lock up, how to take a bump, how to run the ropes, because I'm very well with doing all that, and I'm comfortable in my skills to teach them the basics to get them going. And then the rest is just you have to, because you never stop learning in this business. You never stop learning. So it's just that's what free ring time is after the 12-week camp. I'm in there with everybody else learning, or not learning, I should say, redoing everything, like doing a headlock 2,000 times before you get that shit perfect. I'll do it 1,000 times, and then I'll work on other things with my free ring time with people. Because that's just how you get better. You polish everything up to where it's perfect. And then you can work on other things along the way. But yeah, man, I the longer I go in the business and the more that I learn, it's just that we could teach people and start doing the moves and everything. But now it's just getting their foot wet into the business and seeing if it's something they want to do, and then teaching them a basic structure of a match.
Right, right. Which, I mean, and I love what you said there, and so many people, they don't seem to know that in particular, the idea of doesn't matter how long you've been in the business, you're always learning more.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
you never stop.
yeah, and if you do, you don't have a job. I mean, honestly, and I love. I met the man. He's amazing. He's incredible. He's really cool. Maven's the first one to tell you that because he came in on Tough Enough, and he completely attributes the idea that he wasn't trying to learn more as to the reason why he was let go from the WWE. He said it on
Wow.
several podcasts and his own channel and 1,000 different things that so many people were expecting him to go to the ring before shows and learn stuff with everybody else, and he just wasn't doing it. And it's
Wow.
one of the big factors in his mind why he got let go, because he wasn't trying to learn more. He was just staying on his whatever. And it's like you'll never evolve, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not even just wrestling. Honestly, it's life. I'm
Correct.
40 years old. I was literally just talking about this last night. I am nothing like the person I was 15 years ago, right?
Correct.
So me right
Correct.
now today, I am vegan. I am gluten free because I can't eat gluten, which I love gluten. It doesn't love me back. It's a different story, right?
Well, I'm gonna cut you up. If you ever need a vegan coach, shout out to Brian Turner. Go look for him on Instagram. He's the biggest, most buffest vegan you'll ever meet in your life, and he has over 1,000 clients. And he's a straight up dude, and he's 100% vegan. So Brian Turner, look out for him. Yeah, he's a hell of a dude, and he could get you yoked being vegan. So just wanted to throw that out there.
Awesome. Gonna have to look that up. I'm gonna shout out to my buddy Sean Vegan Keegan. Hey Sean, we should check this guy out. Brian Turner, I love it.
I'll send you his info after the podcast.
100%, I love it. So I was talking to a coworker about this yesterday. If there was I for 10 years I worked at the Texas Roadhouse, right?
Wow.
So
Okay.
I worked at the Texas Roadhouse. I ate nothing but rolls with honey cinnamon butter, right? And the meat galore. And I like to tell people that I forgot more about meat than most people ever knew, because the Texas Roadhouse, they cut all their steaks by hand. They do all stuff from scratch the old-fashioned way. And I was a guy who wanted to know what they were doing, so I didn't mind running into the butcher. There's a butcher back there. They get a giant,
Really?
whole meat. Yeah, they get a whole giant chunk of meat, a whole half a cow, basically. They get half a cow. It comes in, and there's a guy in the back chopping it into little steaks. That's all he does. All day,
That's
every day.
crazy.
Turn it into steaks.
Is that every Texas Roadhouse?
100% made from scratch. 100%.
amazing.
All of their sides are made from scratch. All their dressings are made from scratch. Everything's made from scratch.
That's good enough.
I don't want to give away the secret recipes here. I don't need anybody suing me. But
Yeah, you don't need to do that, but that's good to know.
Let's say the idea of their fall off the bone ribs, they don't screw around. They literally take the 48 hours to cook those things. They slow cook them. That's why you can peel them more like a banana. And
Yeah.
your entire life. And,
Yeah, that's amazing.
and I literally, I will never forget this. Like 8 years ago, I had an ex-girlfriend reach out to me randomly. Just randomly. She just texted me and she's like, "Hey, do you remember that one time you came to my mom's house for a barbecue and you brought a brisket and it was like the best thing I've ever had in my life?" And I was like, "Wasn't that like 8 years ago?" Like I hadn't even talked to this woman in like I don't know how long.
Just a random text message? That's crazy.
Just a random text message from an ex asking a person at the time who had been vegan for about 4 years or so, "Do you still have your brisket recipe?" And I was like, "I don't know. I haven't ate that." And sure enough, I looked at one of my old notebooks and I did. And I took a picture of it. I sent it to her. she made it, and she was like, "This is as good as I remember." And I'm like, "You're
That's
welcome,
that's
right?
cool. Look at that.
You're fucking welcome, right?" So what I'm saying is, the person I was 15 or 20 years ago, being the opposite of a vegan, right? And being the opposite of gluten free is nothing. 20-year-old Christopher and 40-year-old Christopher are two opposing forces.
You had to
In
reinvent yourself, my man. Just like the
100%,
business, Yeah.
just like the business. And so many people are, whether they're afraid of it or they run away from it or they never embrace it, or maybe they've heard too many people say that it's not normal, that you got to keep everything about yourself. I'm here to tell you that's fucking insane. Evolve. Whatever that
Absolutely.
means to you,
Yeah.
evolve. Whether you're
Never
in the
stop
business,
evolving. Yeah.
always learn, always. I'm always trying to learn something new. I'm always trying to get
Absolutely.
better.
Of course.
Justin Roberts, right? Justin
Yep.
Roberts. I had the luxury and the privilege of talking to him at WrestleCon. Justin Roberts, of all people, that man's done so many accolades in this
Oh
business,
yeah, it's amazing.
was the first person to tell me, "Watch yourself." And I was like, "Watch myself? Why would I?
Really?
Why the fuck
Okay.
would I do that?" Like my brain was like, because like I never go back and rewatch my podcasts. I edit it, I go through it once to make sure it doesn't sound stupid, and then I put it on the internet. But he's like, no. Go back and watch everything you've ever done. Go back and watch everything you've ever done, listen to it, etc. Take notes, all that stuff. And I would have felt like a conceited prick 3 months ago if I was watching my own podcast.
Yeah. No,
But
I I watch myself. I usually because I gotta make sure I usually watch everything back. Like when we at camp, we film ourselves a lot because you got to see you got to see yourself to see like, oh, I did that wrong. Oh, I could do it this way different. Like, because that helps a lot, a lot.
oh
With
yeah,
moves, with promos, there's so much. So yeah, I completely second that.
yeah. It's funny is I was on like my third day of school. The owner of the um, and I have so much respect for this man. The owner came in and he was like watching me, and he was trying to like instruct me and stuff, and I was just so nervous because I just have so much respect for this guy. He's been around the business for so long, and he actually filmed me at one point and he showed me the video and he's like, "Bro, you look like there's a stick up your ass. Would you calm the fuck down? Like you're making me nervous with how nervous you are right now." And I was like, "I just don't want to." And he's like, "How many days have you done this?" And I'm like, "This is my third day." And he's like, "Do you really think I expect you to be like Stone Cold Steve Austin on your third day?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"No." And it just perspective, right? I was just like, you put that sometimes you put that pressure on yourself to
100%.
be at a certain level, and you're just not supposed to be there. And
Correct.
I of all people should know that because I say it to my kids all the time. I'm like, listen, when you were born, you couldn't walk, you couldn't talk, you couldn't feed yourself, you wouldn't have lived if I didn't change your diaper, bro.
That's right.
So everything else, you'll be fine. Just take it one day at a time. We'll figure it
Mm-hmm.
out.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you get in those moments sometimes where you put that pressure on yourself to be great at something,
Correct.
and you have it on that pedestal where your brain just whatever. And maybe I'm just saying this to tell other people, or maybe I tell my daughter because I know she actually listens to my podcast. I love you too. When she gets to those points, to be like, hey, dad did it. Everybody goes through it. You're human. You'll get better. It'll be okay.
Absolutely.
It'll be okay, guys.
Yep.
No one expects you to be uh, Superman on the first day. That's not realistic. You
That's
have
yeah.
to work at it, and even if you're really good, you continue to work at it.
Correct.
And you
Correct.
can tell me if I'm wrong, but I've definitely heard this from my coaches, especially. Part of the reason why they love coaching sometimes is they learn from teaching people. So, like, maybe the idea of someone doing a certain thing a different way than they would have thought of it before they're like, oh shit, I've never even looked at life that way before. You made me think about this other thing. I could see
Correct.
it helped them gain like perspective on other
Oh yeah,
people's views of life.
absolutely. And that's that goes with life and wrestling too, because it's the same thing. It's you say in wrestling, it's different flavors of ice cream. It's all ice cream, just different flavors. Everybody does things a little bit different. And life is the same way, man. I mean, as long as everybody does life a little bit different, but as long as you just don't give up and be so hard on yourself. It's like I'm very hard. I would say I'm very hard on myself because I get nervous. I get nervous a lot.
Right.
I'm usually, I'm still teaching myself how to learn to be uncomfortable with the uncomfortable because the media stuff, the wrestling. Once that bell rings, it's like okay, whew, you know. But I also feel uh like everything else I'm good at as well. It's just you have to break the shell, like
Yeah.
yeah. So I mean, yeah, man, absolutely.
No, I love it. I love it. And I had to laugh so hard because when Corey Von Quest was on the podcast well, at this point it was like a week ago, but in continuity of this podcast, it's going to be like a month.
Yeah.
Uh, he probably talked about ice cream for like 45 minutes. So anybody else is like, Jesus, what is with these guys and their ice cream already?
Oh, that's hilarious.
Hilarious. I love it. I absolutely love it. And we had that whole because it's true, right? I think MVP when he was on a podcast last year, he used cheeseburgers. He was like, you could go get a cheeseburger from McDonald's every day, but after a while, you're gonna be like, what am I doing? Why can't I get a better cheeseburger than this, right? So,
Yep. Yep.
there's such a variety out there, and it's
Oh,
just
there is.
there's
There is.
and that's one thing I love about independent pro wrestling because there are so many different almost niche on niche promotions, right? I mean,
Yes, there is.
we had Ref Nick Mitchell on the podcast recently, and he's going to something called like I'm gonna butcher the name, so forgive me. It's like Cabra Wrestle, and they do
Okay.
like some kind of like burlesque thing going on with their wrestling, which brings in a different crowd because the people who like that stuff would have never normally watched wrestling, but because they've mixed it together, they get a whole other crowd. There's
Interesting.
there's
Okay.
there's a he talked about another company that's like cosplay. It's a they go to like Comic Cons, dress up in cosplay and wrestle, and once again
Oh,
they
wow.
attract a different crowd because it's whether you say Ryu or Ryu, you pick it. I don't know, whatever. Ryu versus a guy from Resident Evil, Leon or something, Leon
Yeah.
Kennedy,
Yeah.
fighting it, wrestling it out in the ring. You would have never thought that's a thing, but because it's
That's true.
cosplay wrestling federation or whatever
I
they
mean, I guess
call it.
that's pretty entertaining.
Yeah,
I mean, that
you
that's
go
sorry, my shit keeps falling. I'm connected to the charger, so um
right.
yeah, that's just another form of entertainment. I mean, that's just something different, another place for people to work. I mean, if yeah, because I'm sure
Yeah,
some people want to
exactly.
see some characters versus different characters that you'll never get to see anywhere else.
Exactly. There's I know there's Kaiju Pro where they dress up in giant monster gear and they wrestle in a fake town where they smash each other on the towns.
Oh, that's
Uh,
hilarious.
there's there's two more in New England especially, and I think they're wonderful. Wrestling. I haven't been to them yet. I haven't been to this one yet. I've wrestling with character. They actually give you like you know normally like a weird random crazy character and you have to like learn to become that character before you can like become yourself again and like people we had Lauren St. James. She's a wrestler and an announcer out of the Bio Pro School. She is Tinsel the elf, right? She has to dress up as an elf and like do this whole thing and do all this stuff and she fucking loves it. Or
Ah, wow.
there's Rad Pro Wrestling. They give you a gimmick as their whole gimmick is that it's the 90s. So right
Okay.
now
Okay.
in the Rad Pro universe, it's 1997, and they basically take there's New England Pro Wrestling Academy. They own Chaotic Wrestling and Rad Pro respectively. So their students have two places to go. If obviously that when they get the green light, they can go to both. And marginally speaking, like I talked about, I'll say it 1,000 more times. Shannon Levangie, she's in real life, she's like Americana. Like if I were to show you a picture of this woman, you would think girl next door, apple
Wow.
pie. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Americana, waving white. But when she's in Rad Pro Wrestling, she is a evil doll called Eyeless, and she looks like she can like suck your soul out from what I mean,
That's
from your face,
that's
right?
bitching. It's bitching.
So we get these people who in one place they're the good guy, the other place they're the heel face.
That's
They
cool.
have these
That's
different
cool.
crazy dynamics, and it's amazing because they're doing all this incredible character work,
Yeah.
and they're completely normally out of their comfort zone. Completely
Oh,
normally out,
100%.
because they're not used to being the face. They're normally being the asshole, and now they have to actually, oh, what's it like to pander to the audience instead of just telling them to go screw themselves?
Correct.
I
Correct.
mean, it's a completely different dynamic, and there's so many of those feds, as they call them, all over the place that just completely go out of the box. And I always tell people to check them out because it's just like for me. Once again, I met a couple of guys tonight at my daughter. The dude was wearing a WWE Legend shirt, and he had Eddie Guerrero, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Undertaker, a bunch of guys on
Nice.
his shirt. And I walked up to him and I was like,
Nice.
"Hey man, you like wrestling?" He's like, "I stopped watching in 2004." And I was like, "Bro,
Damn.
watch indie wrestling. Watch indie wrestling, please.
Dang.
You'll love wrestling again. Stay. You don't want the WWE? Fine. That's between you and Jesus. I don't care.
Yeah.
But watch indie wrestling, and you're gonna love it." He's like, "All
Yeah.
right, I'll take it." I told him a couple of names. It's like, check it out, man. Tell me you don't love this stuff. So
Yeah. Absolutely. Like, dude. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's just the greatest. I stopped watching it in my life for 1 year, and that was the 1 year I stopped watching it, which is WrestleMania came to Phoenix, and I had no effing idea. I had no idea. I was maybe 13, 14. I was real into UFC. I got real into UFC at that time. And
are we talking Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker retirement match?
number two.
Oh, okay. All right.
So yeah, I seen the first one, but the year of 2010, I got real into UFC. I was like a big George St. Pierre and Chuck Liddell fan and stuff. So I got real into UFC for a little bit, and that's when I found out. I got found out after that WrestleMania came to Phoenix. Not that I would have been able to probably go because my parents probably wouldn't have still took me, but I was like WrestleMania was in my fucking backyard, and I had no idea. So I was like, I'll never, ever in a million years, not get out of it again. And that was, yeah, that was it. So that was from I started in '99. Took 1 year off in 2010, 99, 2010, and then 2011, I was back and rolling again, and now I've never stopped. So
It's hilarious because I worked at the Texas Roadhouse when that came to town, and I'll never forget it because I definitely couldn't afford to go. And the Glendale Arena, that it was being hosted at,
yeah.
it's probably like, I don't know, maybe a 10-minute drive from. I used to work at the
Oh
Texas
wow.
Roadhouse.
Oh,
It's
you used to work at the one in Phoenix.
yeah.
Okay.
I
Okay.
worked at the one in Phoenix, on 75th Avenue in McDowell for pretty much 10 years.
Wow.
I for a short amount of time, I took a year, like I don't know, 8 months off. I moved to Orlando with my dad, and I actually worked at the Texas Roadhouse in Orlando, which was actually right down the street from Disney.
Oh wow.
Um,
Nice.
but cumulative total is like 10 years at the Texas Roadhouse, most of it at the one in Phoenix, in West Phoenix. Um, which I mean, at the time it was whatever, but like looking back, there's a lot of nostalgia. Shout out Dave Swanson. He was the partnering manager over there, but managing partner I should say. But I'll never forget working that night because during the show I was trying to pay attention like on my phone, and phones weren't super smart back then. So you're like refreshing a web page trying to get information.
Yeah,
And my
I know those
brother is
days.
like, I want to say my brother was watching it, and I was trying to get information. And I remember at one point the show wasn't over, but a giant group of security guards walked in to get a table, and I went over there and I made a joke to them, and I was like, "Hey guys, you guys were working at WrestleMania Day?" And they're like, "Yeah." And I was like, "So can you tell me which door you left, you know, sans security guard so I can get in? Because I can leave right now if you tell me." And they just looked at me and they're like, just no. And I was like, all
Yeah.
right, man. I
Look
thought
how
we were
you
going to be
crazy
friends
fool.
today, but apparently not. You
That's
know,
funny.
some people can't take a joke, but I'm like, are you sure? Was it
Took it
gate 7? Because I could
like,
be
bro, you
there in
took
like
you
10 minutes. You know what
take your job too seriously, man. As a joke.
I mean? So, which
It's
then
awesome.
afterwards made me want to be like, hey, how are you here? The show's still going. Why are you?
I
You got
know.
to take a what, taking a lunch break? You drove all the way here? No, that's you got to be all serious. Let's get serious then. All right.
For real.
Jeez.
That was fucking great.
Oh man. So yeah, no, that was
Good
a
stuff.
wild one. Luckily, I've been to 3 WrestleManias now. The last 3 WrestleManias, but definitely not going next year.
Nice.
That's out of the
Heck yeah.
question. That's
Yeah. I don't think a lot. You won't see very many of us probably go.
no. I'm here in New England we had, and they kind of had it after the fact to be fair, but they had something called Rest of Us, and it was 4 days. There was like I want to say 8 different promotions from the Northeast came up to Worcester, Massachusetts, and put
Nice.
on. I think it was like 13 or 14 different shows in those 4 days,
That's
and it
awesome.
was $150. I think it was for tickets to all of the events. The
Wow.
last day was actually free, and there was I want to say 3 or 4 free events on that last day. But
Damn. That's awesome.
what I really hope that next year when WrestleMania is overseas, we
Yeah.
see more of that in America because
Correct.
make hay while the sun shines, my friends.
Yep.
They are losing out on our money.
Yep.
Let's remind them of that. Let's do it together.
Correct.
That's what I'm going to say.
It's a fact right there.
That is absolutely a fact. And for me, there's no reason why. I mean, I know, and it's funny because people always just assume. I guess I think especially with with old school wrestling fans, the territory days are over, guys. It's over.
Yeah. Yeah, they are.
They're dead and buried.
Yep.
The indie promotions now, most of their rosters, you're sharing a roster. You're sharing a roster.
Correct.
You don't
Correct.
normally have a dedicated group of people that you're always having unless you also have a school and all of those people came out of your school, right? Then you know that they'll probably pick you over somebody else. But we got to share
Correct.
and play nice with others, is what I'm saying. And
That's yep.
if we pick if Regions or whoever says, hey, you know what, WWE's gone, let's make it happen. We can make some money, guys. Let's get it
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, absolutely. It should be there should be big, massive shows all over America that week, just to prove to that you shouldn't. Yeah, you shouldn't have done that.
Exactly.
No, shouldn't have done
Let's
that.
remind them
So,
who paid the bills, man. Let's remind them.
yeah. America. Just kidding.
America. Wish I had my little flag. I had my little flag last night. My little flag, like, yeah. Especially this is coming out on the 4th of July, man. Come on.
Yeah, that's right. I know, huh?
USA. USA. People can say whatever they want. Listen,
Oh.
I'm a veteran of America, and I love this country. I may not always agree with the government, but that's
Yeah.
what I'm talking about.
That's
Saying
not
I love the country. That's all I'm
Correct.
saying. So
correct.
So, question, because we talked about so many things you do. So now my brain's wondering this. Outside wrestling, bodybuilding, coaching, your job, do you do anything to relax and recharge?
Yeah, I like to go on hikes. I go on a lot of hikes with my dog. I got a little dog that I go on a lot of hikes with. I'm a gamer, so I'm a gamer. I definitely like to game. I got my buddies that I game with. If I got some time, like an hour or so, I'll game for a little bit. I love going on I've always been like a tourist type of person. That's why it's like kind of cool that Vegas is kind of nearby because I've always loved finding tourist things to do. Whether it was like going on to see the town, going out to see a mountain or a hiking trail. I really love the outdoors. I really love the outdoors. Gaming. I love movies. I'm a big movie guy. I got a pretty good movie collection. So I love to go out and watch the movies and concerts. I'm a big music guy. So yeah, that's kind of I would say that's like a lot of my time. Hanging out with friends. I hang out with Eric quite a bit. That's what we usually do with our concerts and stuff. Um, yeah, everyday life, man. It's just nothing crazy. I'd say nothing crazy. I'm a pretty simple dude, honestly. Um, I have a motorcycle, so I love going on rides with my friends on my bike. I'm a big rider. Uh, yeah,
Which is
so
something you can do more often in Arizona, comparatively speaking. Here
yeah.
in New Hampshire, it's always like cold, like 6 or 7 months of the year. So, like just today, I think it was like 89 degrees, which is pretty warm for this
Oh,
area.
that's good. Yeah, that's good.
And there were so many people out on their bikes. I was just like,
Was
you can tell. You could tell. You could. There are times where people are out on their bikes where it's like 60 and it's
a breezy.
raining. It's
Oh wow.
breezy and like raining, and I'm like, these people are so desperate to ride that bike, they don't care anymore.
Yeah, that's pretty. What for me, man? Once it goes under 50 degrees, that bike is parked and I got the cover on it.
Right,
Like I don't
right,
ride in the cold. I hate the cold. So
right.
I
These
live
people
in
are
the right
desperate.
spot. So that.
Yeah, 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 yeah. No, I try to tell that to people, and they're always like, "No, well, what do you want me to do?" And I'm like, "Hey, man, just it's raining. Be safe, man. Just be safe. That's all I can
Yeah,
tell you."
no shit. That's pretty dangerous. I don't.
Right,
I've rode in the
exactly.
rain twice because I had to, and that was because I was just on the way home and it started raining, and that shit hurts.
Yeah,
That shit hurts so
right,
bad it feels like it's pellets are hitting you.
right. So, do you're going to these different promotions? You're in this like I don't want to say tri-state area, but it kind of sounds like that.
Yeah, pretty
In my
much.
head it
Yeah.
does. Is there anybody, do you, well, I guess I should ask this question. Do you watch tape when you're watching tape, normally it falls into one of two categories these days. Either you're watching tape so that you can further your own character, or you're watching tape of your opponents so you can know what to do with them in the ring.
Both.
So both, that's what you're doing right now?
Yep. I to know who I'm working with, like I'm glad that I know in advance who I'm working with, so I can look them up, reach out to them, be like, "Hey, what's your what's your things? What are we doing? Story?" This if you have an opportunity to do that, I'd like to do that. Sometimes you're going to arrive at a place to where you can't do that. You know, um so you got a little bit of time to go over what you got, and that's it. But if you got your opponents, then I definitely like to go on their socials and their see what they have, see what their most recent matches are, see how they work, see how they're pandering to the crowd or they're insulting the crowd, to kind of know how to see where we're going to work, what story we're going to tell. Um, but yeah, that's yeah. So
Makes total sense. Is there anybody on the indie scene right now that you'd like to work with?
that's a hard question. I might have a better answer for you next time, just because I'm starting to learn a lot more about everybody and everyone. I want to work with a lot of people, man. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of people that I want to work with, but they're way above right now. So it's I will
Yeah.
get there. I'm gonna get there. It's just a matter of time. Uh, because the people that I met that I connected with out at WrestleCon, uh, man, they have had nothing but good things to say. I got to connect with a lot of good people out there and have some good conversations with some people out, out on a night of drinking and stuff like that. So it was great. I have a couple of good people in my DMs right now to where I can reach out to them and send them the critique to where they can get back to me pretty good. But right now, man, honestly, I'm just taking everything I can with what I have, the opportunities that I have, and when I can start making a good name for myself, and then I can kind of branch out to see. It's like, okay, now we on a now I think we could do something good together. I think we could do something good together. And there's a lot of guys on the independent scene that are coming up, and me being new, I'm a little new to the independent scene, so I'm learning about all these new guys, and I think my answer for you might be a little bit different next time. So because I'm learning all these new guys from these different promotions that I'm learning about that I didn't know about before, and man, there's a whole world of people that I would love to work with after seeing all these promotions that I've been seeing. So
And there are so many. I mean, Jesus, I can tell you, especially going to WrestleCon, there's just so many people from so many different areas. Or let's say the Bazaar Bar that was in downtown Vegas. They had back to back to back promotions for like 4 or 5 days where they just had so
yep,
many shows and so much
yep,
talent. Some shared, live from the same pool. The
correct.
what was the trying to think of the name. There was a couple of bars on Fremont Street, especially that had
The Nerd
some.
Bar.
Yes, that's the one. I know a
That's
couple of
where
times.
specifically I met everybody else. Like pretty much
Right.
I got to have good conversations with Fallen Gray, and that was really good. I actually met Desmond Xavier, former known as Wesley. Um, I got to meet him and pick his brain and get a good conversation with him. So yeah, there's a couple people that I really got to hit it off with, and you've seen how I was dressed at WrestleCon, man. I went out dressed like that out on the town, so I was dressed to professionalism. That's how
Right.
I feel like I should be dressed. That's how I want to dress. So yeah, it was great, man. It was they fed me so much good information in my ear. Shout out to Big Money Clutch as well. If you don't know who that is, look him up because he's a hell of a guy, hell of a wrestler. He's actually the AWF heavyweight champion right now. So Arizona Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion, and he's the one that kind of got me hooked up with all these people and having conversations and just thread the needle and kind of every one of them, man, I kept their attention. I was just asking the questions, soaking everything up that I can, and everything went great, man. So it's just from WrestleCon, it's just been up and up and up and up, and it's been nothing but good, positive advice. So God bless everybody that's had my back and throwing their neck out for me because we're just gonna keep on going from here, man. It's just one after another, and then once everybody starts to realize Cody Dreamheart is now here, we'll start rocking and rolling. Start calling people out on the independent scene. Right now, I'm uh I'm just going out there trying to make a name for myself and showing everybody that I'm different than everybody else. I'm bringing something a little bit different than everybody else is bringing. So everyone else has their own package, and hopefully my package can send me into the fucking stratosphere.
100%. And I love how you brought that up because, like, let's say I met Nick, the owner of Pandemonium Wrestling. Normally they're out in Portland, Oregon, but he's going to be actually having a show in Phoenix. I think it's September 5th at Bullshooters, a place way
Yeah.
back in the day. In
Yeah.
my days, I used to frequent that bar with a few people, which is another thing that actually that's the reason why I was going down nostalgia lane because I was just thinking about the idea of I don't even drink alcohol anymore. I haven't really drank alcohol in 6 years at this point.
Good
I
for
want to
you,
say
man.
I really stopped
You.
drinking alcohol once my daughter was born. To be real,
Awesome.
for the most part. So, but they're gonna have this thing, and I was actually thinking about it's a show for all ages. So I was kind of thinking about me and JJ, taking a flight down to Phoenix, maybe staying at grandma's house, crashing on grandma's couch, staying with my mother because mine
Yeah.
still have siblings. My mom
Awesome.
and some of my siblings still live in Phoenix. Just so I can take a gander at the Pandemonium, and then
Yeah. That's
you know,
awesome.
I was talking to STD. I was like, hey man, if I get the free time, maybe next year around this time, I would certainly love to come up and check out you guys. That would be
Oh yeah, that'd be awesome. That'd be great. Yeah, it's funny that you say bullshooters because we were just invited to a AWF show, and that's where they held it. So that's where I was
yeah,
just up there a couple months ago. So it was pretty cool. So
yeah. There's a lot of really good wrestling that comes out of there. I
oh
think
yeah,
I really want to say Donovan Dijak was at a show.
nice.
at bull shooters this year, and I was trying
That's
to get my
cool.
brother. I was trying to get my brother to go because Dijak was on the podcast with me
Nice.
in December, and I tried to get my brother to go, and I was gonna be like, have him like say meet Dijak and be like, hey, you know, you were just on my brother's podcast just see if it messed with him because he lives here in Massachusetts. Well, he lives in Massachusetts. I don't live in Massachusetts. I live in New England, but you know he lives in this particular area. So
Yeah, the area. Yeah, that's cool.
right.
That's awesome. Yeah, he just posted something on. I just shared one of his posts. That he was doing a wrestling match with his daughter.
Oh really? I'm gonna
Yeah, I
have
don't
to
know if
check
you've
that
seen
out
that.
now.
It was freaking awesome
No,
though, man.
I
Full
just
on.
I just posted one up with he's gonna be defending his Blood, Sweat, and Tears championship at the end of the month. They're doing Do or Die Jack or Die or Do or Die Jack. Yeah. So
Nice.
that's gonna be
That's cool.
that's gonna be hopefully we can JJ and I can go to that one as well. So it'll
Yeah,
be
that's
pretty
awesome.
um because he's an incredible in ring performer for sure.
Oh, he is.
I got the luxury, genuine privilege of seeing him at NXT Stand and Deliver in Philadelphia a couple of years ago when he wrestled
Nice.
Obafemi and Briggs in a triple threat match.
Sick.
Um, it was in, it
That was
was
a
an
hell of a match.
if anybody hasn't seen that match, go back and watch it right now. It
Oh,
was
it's a hell.
insane. It
It's a
was
hell of a
insane.
match.
It's a hell of a match, and I got to be there live for that one. It was mind-boggling.
That's awesome.
The man gives no. He just man. Every time he blows me away.
Oh yeah.
So for maybe I should have my brain's here, and I kind of want to put this into two layers here. For
Yeah.
anybody at the end of this one wondering who you are as a performer, like if somebody's like asking from your perspective who you are and why they should see you wrestle, let them know.
Well, Cody Dreamheart is born from nothing, man. I was raised from a good family, man. I was a good family, man. The golden standard is standards up here, man. I'm a once in a lifetime athlete. You know, I have been a passionate fan of professional wrestling, like we all are since I could barely walk. And I now have a opportunity to go show the world how passionate I am about this. And I have an athletic ability. I can show you some shit that you've never seen before. I can pull those emotions from the camera like nobody's ever seen before, like this man right here. Um, and I'm here to tell stories, man. I'm here to tell stories. I'm here to make people, like I was saying before, I'm here to make people be a better version of themselves, but also say, hey, man, that guy can go. That guy's an entertainer, but he also pushed me to be a better person and persevered me to be a better human being. And man, that's just what I stand for, man. I'm the golden standard. It's just you have standards in life. You shoot for them. You reach this for the stars. Cody Dreamheart is made for me and my brother. Um, we both had a dream of professional wrestling. You know, my brother is autistic. He's my older autistic brother, and God didn't bless him with the skills that they blessed me. So I said, you know what, Trav, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make this dream for the both of us because I have more heart than more people can ever desire. You know, I don't give up. I don't give up easily, and I never ever stop going through this life. So Cody Dreamheart, man, he's the golden standard of life. He's going to be the golden standard of the professional wrestling business, and follow the story because the rise to the top, a new golden era has begun. So if you don't know who I am, you will know who I am. The crossed oath, right here, Cody Dreamheart, and I live, breathe, and die off of gold, heart, dreams, and gold, man. So heart, dreams, and gold are what fuel me. So it's just a matter of time before we hit the road and selling with this thing, man.
I love it. I love it. And you know, I would say STD and I, we made sure to give. I mean, maybe I'm not going to get the number of minutes appropriately, but I feel like we made sure to give you your flowers in that conversation. So, what I
Oh, I
would love
appreciate
to
you
do,
both.
right? No, of
Likewise
course.
for him too, because I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. Like, period. I tell him that all the time. I said, I could have went back to Vegas and still been wrestling for FSW and maybe not even been on the card, you know, for years and years. But you gave me the opportunity to go out there and create myself and put myself out there, and I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. So I already told him, I said, no matter what I do in this business, you will always be reached out, you will always be shouted out, because Rise and Create, STD, Steven, yeah, I can't thank him enough for giving me the door wide open for me, you know. So.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was hoping for. It's exactly really wanted to make sure we gave him his flowers back
Oh,
because
well,
you know what I
absolutely,
mean.
man. I mean,
He's
he's an amazing opponent too. We work like clockwork together. We made some history, and I'm excited for the world to see that Desert Pro match too. So
yeah, you know, I mean, I know he was very excited. You and I kind of talked before that match a little bit. I know you were definitely very excited to be there, and I saw the promos you guys were dropping back and forth at each other. Those were pretty good too. I was like, all right, I see what's going on here. I like it.
yeah, man.
And it's you know you just got to give your time to those people who give to you, right? You
Absolutely.
have to. It's so imperative because those people they made time for they put themselves and they're giving back in the same way. That's super
100%.
efficient, right? So it's
100%.
always good to just keep the cycle. And it's funny
Yep.
how it's changed me as almost as a person because now um, if I see that positivity in the world, I gotta pass it on, right?
Oh, absolutely.
I can't let it lie. Just
Yep.
today, you know, a friend of mine, um, her son goes to the same school that my daughter goes to, and our kids have the same teacher that they love and adore very much. So today, when I had like a parent teacher conference with this particular teacher, I was like, just so you know, my friend, she says the absolutely greatest things about you. Her son loves you so much.
Awesome.
I just want to make sure you know that even when you're not in the room, people put respect on your name. And
That is amazing.
she was very much. First, she thought I was going to say completely opposite for there. I think because, and then she was like, "Well, where are we going with that?" And I was like, see, this is why I want to put the positivity out there, guys, because your instinct shouldn't be people are talking trash behind your back.
Yeah.
If you
It's
have been getting that, I guess it's not your fault, but at the same time, we live in a world where a lot of horrible shit happens every single day. And there's so many of it that's completely out of our control.
correct.
128% we
Correct.
can't control. But you know what we can control? These mouths. You know what we can control? We can control the ability to say, you know what? I'm going to do better today. Yesterday might have been trash. Last week might have been garbage. Doesn't matter. Today, tomorrow, God put air in my lungs and I can make today
Yep.
better than it was yesterday.
You control your own narrative. You know,
So
that's yep.
I love to make sure to wake up and say, hey, you know what? God put the oxygen today, so I'm going to make sure I paid forward. And I say wonderful things to a wonderful teacher who
Yep.
deserves a shout out. And I will laugh my ass off. I know that some of those teachers have been paying attention because my daughter also does do a podcast from time to time as well. So I know people have been paying attention to her podcast. So it's just it would be hilarious if she was paying attention, I guess is what I'm really saying. But I just want to make sure that I always put that positivity back in the world because we need
Yeah, man.
it. We
Yep.
need it now more than ever. We need
Yes,
it
we
now.
do.
People are dying on their own handmade crosses for a label that doesn't even make sense to begin with. They're like,
Mhm.
oh, this label it defines me as a person. Really? This one label? That's it? I wouldn't die on a hill for veganism. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's like, oh, veganism or death, okay, well, veganism doesn't need to be here because like I'm not gonna die for it. Like I have children and stuff. I can't die
Yeah.
on a weird moral like weird ground. Like I think how ridiculous would it be to be like, I know you need a father, but I gotta prove to the world that vegans are more important?
Yeah.
What?
No,
What? It's a diet, people. I'm not dying for a diet. Get out of here. Gonna die for your ketoism or whatever? Okay.
Yeah, man, you just got to stay positive. Like, I was helping customers the other day, and they said I'm always in a good mood. Like, I'm always in a good mood, trying to hype everybody up, no matter what. Like, so I'm taking their order and whatnot, and they're like, "What kind of energy are you on?" I'm like, "I'm on everyday energy, baby. This is every day of my life. Like, if nobody should be miserable. Like, smile, be happy. Like, never things couldn't be going my way, but I'm still gonna not show it. I'm still gonna show happy, because if you show happiness to somebody, that could make their day. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Every
yeah,
every every little thing helps, man.
yeah,
So,
yep,
last question. Once again, I should say before I ask this question, I just want to make sure to say thank you so much for going on this journey with me. I feel like we've been literally talking for like 2.5 hours at this point, which
yeah,
is always
dude.
wonderful.
It's cool.
It's been great. It's been so much fun. So I
Good
very
pleasure.
much appreciate it. We made sure to
Likewise,
plug all
man.
your stuff.
Yeah, I think we got everything, man. I was gonna plug one more thing in, because this will come in July. So July 18th, we're gonna be having our open house um we're gonna for Rise and Create, and we're gonna be doing if all plans right. The plan is for a fatal 4-way open house story match. So I'll just plug that in now, because you'll get to see that. We'll have flyers, and it'll be blasted up on socials and stuff. But Rise and Create Open House 4. It'll be a triple threat between STD, or not a triple threat, a fatal 4-way between STD, Cody Dreamheart, Eric Blackwell, who debuted at the last open house, and one of our newest students, Sid Wolf. So,
Incredible.
yeah.
Incredible. Yeah. And I'll make sure to like slice out every once in a while. I'll do that. I'll slice out, like you talked about your stuff. I'll slice that out and drop it like tomorrow or something. Like I'm not gonna like not drop it and be like, oh well, I know we talked about it whenever, but it's
You're
June.
good. You
You know
do
what I
your
mean?
thing, man.
I always slice. I make sure to slice it out and put it out there. I did the same thing with, there was like I said, I had a conversation with this guy named AJP, and he came up with an idea for a wrestle prom because he was thinking to himself how he didn't get to have a prom, and then he was thinking about how wrestling fans probably didn't get to really do prom, so he made. His father owns the Renegade Wrestling Alliance, the RWA from Rhode Island, so he was able to convince his father to put on a wrestle prom. So they had
Nice.
like an hour or two before the show actually started. They just had a prom. They had music and people
Wow.
showed up in tuxedos and they did the whole prom thing. And you know,
That's cool.
I made sure to like put that out there because that's a lot of positivity. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
this guy was thinking, oh, you know what? Wrestling fans, we're different. We're built different. We didn't get the same experience as everybody else. I want to try to give people that same experience in the environment that's
Right.
friendlier to us. So
Yes.
same thing with your stuff. I'll make sure to slice and dice and get it out there for sure. In fact, this podcast will probably be on for my like 3 people who actually pay for me my Apple podcasts. This will be on there in like 2 days.
Nice. Well, God bless those 3 people, man.
Right? It helps pay for the. You got to pay with Apple. You actually got to pay $20 a year to put your podcast on Apple Podcasts. So those people paying for it help
That's
pay for the thing. So
doesn't surprise me, man. They make you pay for everything nowadays.
everything,
No, it's
everything.
insane.
But yeah, man, I genuinely just want to say I appreciate
It's been
the
a
fact
pleasure.
that you came on here today and had this conversation with me.
Oh yeah, man. I appreciate you having me. It's the feeling is mutual, because both of us to sit here and have this conversation, it's I'm blessed for it, man. I mean, I have been waiting for this. I did one in studio podcast with Steven before, like right when the camp came out, with one of our production guys, Road Dog Report, and that was the other one we did, and it was so much fun, and I was so ecstatic, because this is a part of the gig that I was learning to be comfortable with the uncomfortable, but now it's so exciting when you start to just enjoy it, and, get a little, you just enjoy it, and it's a part of the gig, man. The wrestling just goes to everything, because this is just trying to stay. Hey, Cody Dreamheart is here. He's on the rise, and a new golden era has begun. And independent professional wrestling is just got a little bit golden.
There you go. I love it. With that being said, the last question I had for you, and it's kind of like a combo of things that I put together here, but
Okay.
realistically speaking, the question here is, what advice do you have for anyone on the fence right now thinking about it? You know, whether it is a professional wrestling, being a wrestling professional, or a creative of some sort. Do
So just
you have,
anything in general?
yeah, you know, someone's like, all right, you know, I'm watching this podcast. This guy's chasing his dream. It makes me think I should have really stuck with the guitar. What advice do you have for those creatives that are on that fence, or maybe even they started it and they're not sure if they have the hunger to finish?
Well, one, I will say this: you have to have the passion for it, and you have to have love for it, because if you don't have love and passion for it, you won't stick to it. So I will say that. But for any of those people that are kind of left and come back, just find that passion again. Like if you left and there was a reason that you left, find out find out why you left and find that passion again, because you need passion in order to do something like that. And love it, because nobody's just going to pick up the guitar or walk into the gym or do a DJ studio just because they're for shits and giggles, you know. And don't give up. Don't give up no matter how hard it gets, because you never know who's watching. Like you said, those 3 people that pay for your Apple, those are 3 people that are with you all the time. You know, like that guy Jake that I was telling you about here, he was with me all the time, and he said, "I'll share everything, man, because you're a superstar." Don't even know me, so it's just never stop. Find the passion. You have to love whatever it is that you got. Um, love it. If you don't love it, then that's okay to move on. You know, it's okay to try something new and move on from it if you don't feel something for it. But if you feel something for it and you stopped and you just, let it go, don't do that. I mean, it's just like wrestling. That was for me. I mean, it'll come back in your life if it's worth it as well. I'm a sure believer in that, and God works in mysterious ways, and I was made to be here, and that's why that camp came into fruition. So just find the passion, find the heart, and if it is truly something that is meant to be, it'll always come back in your life. So just never give up, never stop persevering to find the best version of yourself, and just never quit, never stop moving forward. No matter if the hard times, the heartbreak, if you get down on yourself, never stop moving forward. Never stop moving forward. You know, you could be shitty at that guitar when you first get it, but if you still want to get better, don't give up. Keep going, because you will get better if you just don't stop. That's my advice. I know it's kind of weird and like cliche for advice, but that's the best advice, because you can't move on with something if you don't enjoy doing it. You know?
It's true. No, it's true. And you know what? Cliches are cliches for a reason, because sometimes they're just the fucking truth, whether you like
Yeah.
it or not. Diamond Dallas Page told me that on a few occasions, my friends.
Yeah. Bang.
Cliches are cliches for a reason, and
Yeah.
when it works, it works. And whether
Right.
whether you like it or not, whether you want to hear it or not,
Yeah.
sometimes the truth is just has to be said. So
I mean, there's a reason it's a word, you know? So, I mean, it's, yeah. And it's, like I said, it's kind of like a weird answer, but, just don't stop moving forward. That's the biggest advice that I tell everybody with everything. Just don't stop moving forward, and as long as you don't stop, you'll be blessed with something that God will bless you with. As long as you don't stop believing in yourself. Don't stop believing in the grind, the journey, and it will all work out in the end.
yep. You know,
Yeah,
oof.
man.
Come up above and come down
Yeah,
below.
that's right, man. Yep. Yep.
And since we're wrapping this one up, and it's the 4th of July for the thing, God
Yeah.
bless America.
God bless
Woo!
America.
God
Woo!
bless
Boom,
America.
boom, boom. Fireworks
Um,
burning, bro.
exactly. Though on this particular day, I will be driving home and hopefully not seeing any damn fireworks because
Me too.
it's
I'll be driving home as well. So
gonna be a wild time.
yes,
But yeah,
yes.
man, genuinely appreciate you again.
Of course.
Very much. For fans of the show, I want to say the next
Thank you.
podcast should be with the Wind Dragon Dustin Wen, that I met from New Texas Pro. So
Nice.
pretty
Nice.
sure that's the next one I have at least scheduled. Sometimes things don't go as planned, but as the wonderful and great John Lennon once said, life is what happens to you while you're busy making other plans.
That's right. That's right. Maybe I'll see him down the road later. No.
There you go.
Never
There
know.
you go. All right, for everybody.
All right, man.
I will see you all next time. And
All right.
peace.